Part 9. After guarding the abyss for a billion years, when he returned, his family became a criminal clan. Author, Top 47. Chapter 82. 205 Heavy God and Demons Prison suppressing power is in full operation. The great calamity seed in Meng Zhan's body suddenly surged out with terrifying calamity power, and under the operation of the gods and demons prison suppressing power, Meng Zhan's aura changed drastically in an instant. Boom! In the body, the cell shackles were released one by one. The endless power surged in an instant. From a distance, Qian Yunlong and others were watching from a distance. They originally saw Meng Zhan leading people towards the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect's leader, the Heavenly Sword Robbery Lord. At this time, they raised their eyebrows. Does the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect have a grudge against him? Qian Yunlong and others pondered for a while, but did not get involved. Although the Tianjian Shenzhen had some friendship with them, there was no need to involve themselves. When the terrifying aura of the gods and demons prison suppressing power burst out from Meng Zhan's body, when the aura of great calamity surged into the sky and swept over them in an instant, the expressions of Qian Yunlong and others changed in vain. What a terrifying magical power! What kind of magic is this? The aura is so terrifying and domineering. The aura on his body increased more than 10 times in an instant. This magical skill is absolutely extraordinary, and the origin of this person is also absolutely extraordinary. The hairs on the hair of this group of robber masters stood up, and they secretly exclaimed as they gasped for air. But the robber master with the heavenly sword, who was under the Meng War divine halberd, was even more horrified at this moment. His eyes were so wide that they almost bulged, and he roared angrily. Said, "Stop! You went too far by attacking me as soon as you arrived." Keng. The Lord of Heavenly Sword Tribulation instinctively drew his sword, and suddenly slashed out with a magical sword. At that moment, it was as if a sword was slashing from the sky. The boundless power of heaven and earth suddenly gathered, as if a cloud of calamity was born, and a terrifying giant, the aura of robbery, met Meng Zhan's halberd and killed him. Boom! Blood spurted out from the body of the Heavenly Sword Tribulation Master, and his bones cracked. His whole body was like a porcelain doll, cracked with countless blood marks. The moment Meng Zhan struck down with the halberd, the Heavenly Sword Tribulation Master's face turned pale. Unimaginable power slashed down from Meng Zhan's halberd. There was a sharp bang. His one calamity divine weapon heavenly sword was actually broken into 2 pieces by Meng Zhan's halberd. And he himself was cut away in an instant. Countless blood spilled into the sky. However, before the heavenly sword tribulation master could run away in fear, another force suddenly appeared, pulling him in the direction of Meng Zhan. Past. No. Don't kill me, don't kill me. The Heavenly Sword Tribulation Master roared loudly and begged for mercy. But seeing Meng Zhan ignoring him, the Heavenly Sword Tribulation Master could only shout in fear at Qian Yunlong and others in the distance, "Please save me." This man captured Bai Linglong, the little princess of the Bai family, the little king, and now his life or death is uncertain. If the little heavenly king finds out that you are refusing to save him, you will definitely be doomed. Take action quickly, this person is just a native of the ordinary world. In the distance, Qian Yunlong and others' faces changed slightly when they heard this. The little daughter of the Bai family, the little king, Bai Linglong. The Bai family is the strongest force in the surrounding area. Among them, the little heavenly king Bai Xiaotian is a 9 tribulations lord. His strength is extremely terrifying and he is famous in the entire Xinwu heavenly realm. Otherwise, there would be no such thing. Known as the Little Heavenly King. Meng Zhan looked at the Master of Heavenly Sword Tribulation with an indifferent expression. He used the Taijin Hunyuan Sutra and instantly pulled back the severely injured and half-dead Heavenly Sword Tribulation Master. The power of the Hunyuan field moved, and a reverse force. The chaotic power instantly tore the divine body and soul of the heavenly sword tribulation master into pieces, leaving only one great tribulation seed. Mengjian didn't know what the use of this thing was, but the next moment the system had absorbed it and disappeared. In an instant, Mengjian heard the prompt that the god and demon points increased by 10 billion points. This made Mengjian's heart move slightly. One of the great tribulation seeds in the bodies of gods and demons in the 9 tribulation realm can increase the god and demon points by 10 billion points. Swish swish. Qian Yunlong and others rushed over and saw that Mengjian had killed the Lord of Heavenly Sword Tribulation, and frowned again. But they didn't care whether the Lord of Heavenly Sword Tribulation died or not. Qian Yunlong looked at Mengjian. After hesitating for a moment, he still asked, I just heard from the Lord Jianji that day that brother Meng captured Bai Linglong, the little princess of the Bai family. Brother, this is not my meddling. It's just that Bai Linglong was born in the Bai family, and her father is the little heavenly king Bai Xiaotian, the master of the 9 tribulations. If there is no deep hatred, I think there is no need to offend the Bai family. Mengjian nodded slightly and said, don't worry, she's not dead yet. Qian Yunlong and others. But you captured the little princess of the Bai family. They originally said they wanted to get together for a drink, but after Mengjian killed the Lord of Heavenly Sword Tribulation, these people all found excuses and left in a hurry. Qian Yunlong sighed and said goodbye to Mengjian. Mengjian's eyes stayed on Qian Yunlong and others for a moment. After thinking about it, he still suppressed the thought in his heart. He still doesn't know what is going on in the Xinwu heavenly realm. He should wait for such a reckless thing to be figured out before doing such a reckless thing. Bar. Subsequently, Mengjian's eyes fell on Jian Angsu and Lu Zun. One of them was at the peak of the primitive gods and demons realm, and the other was at the late stage of the primitive gods and demons realm. I wanted to run away, but I was restrained by his power and couldn't move. Seeing Mengjian's eyes, he looked over. Jian Angsu and Lu Zun both looked extremely frightened at this moment, their eyes full of pleading. As for Lu Zun's murderous intention, they had already been scared out of their wits when Mengjian made his move. How dare you act so arrogantly in front of Mengjian? However, Mengjian didn't even look at them. He put his hand on Jian Angsu's head, suppressed the restriction set by the Lord of Heavenly Sword Tribulation, and forcibly searched Jian Angsu's soul. A moment later, both Jian Angsu and Lu Zun were killed by Mengjian, who shattered their bodies and souls with one hand. Heavenly Sword Divine Section. Mengjian looked in the direction of the Tianjian Shen Zone, and then in the direction of the 4 divine cities where the Taoan family and other 4 ancient clans lived respectively. He had no idea of going there immediately. Go back first. Mengjian waited until Qian Yunlong and others had left, then used the power of time and space to isolate all directions. Then he returned to the valley and returned to the world of gods and demons through the passage. The world of gods and demons. When Mengjian went to the Xinwu heaven realm to overcome the tribulation and break through the gods and demons in the 9 tribulations realm, it was the hidden ancestral land of the Jinji family, the Huaiyan family, and the Xinjiang family. In the opened gate of time and space, Xiong Zhantian and 3 others arrived separately. Xiong Zhantian looked at the huge space in front of him, which was indeed isolated from the outside world of gods and demons. If he searched from the outside, even if he was at the peak of the original god and demon realm, it would be difficult to find him. Being secluded in a place like this, no wonder no one outside can find it. Who? The moment Xiong Zhantian appeared, Jin Gao and other immortal gods and demons left behind by the Jinj family were alarmed. They rose into the sky one after another and shouted loudly. The sound shook the entire Jinj family's hidden ancestral land. And when the others saw Xiong Zhantian alone in the void, they all had a bit of astonishment in their eyes. Why did this man appear in the ancestral land of their Jinj family? Jinj Valley felt the terrifying aura on Xiong Zhantian's body, and his scalp suddenly went numb. Ma, could only suppress the fear in his heart and asked cautiously, "Who are you? Why do you come to the ancestral land of my Jinji family?" Xiong Zhantian looked at the already somewhat chaotic ancestral land of the Jinji family, grinned and said calmly, "Who is it?" "Xiong family, Xiong Zhantian. I, the billionaire elder of the Xiong family, asked me to come and take the lives of your Jinji family, and asked you to go down and accompany them." Xiong Zhantian's voice was very soft. But when it fell on the ears of Jingao and others, it sounded like thunder. "Do it!" Jingao shouted loudly, and terrifying formations were suddenly activated in the ancestral land of the Jinj family. At the same time, Jingao and the others turned around and ran away, shouting violently, "A powerful enemy is coming, run away! Everyone is trying to escape." Boom! Xiong Zhantian looked at them like this and didn't bother to tease them anymore. Although seeing the fear on their faces made him feel a little happy. How much pain the enemy suffered, he could get as much comfort in his heart. However, when Jingao and the others activated the formation, a pair of divine hammers in his hands also moved. A divine hammer was swung by him, and it instantly hit the ground below. This blow, under the terrifying power of the peak of the original gods and demons, the huge land of the Jinji family's ancestral land was destroyed in an instant. Countless mountain peaks shattered, the earth cracked, and rivers disappeared in an instant. The large formations that had just been activated were also bombarded by the power of the divine hammer. Exploded. The other divine hammer was swung by Xiong Zhantian and hit Jingao and others who were trying to escape. Boom! One hammer at a time. Xiong Zhantian watched Jingao and others escape, followed, and used the hammer to blow them up one by one. "Run, keep running. Not even half of the people have been killed. Jingao can't bear it anymore." He stopped, turned around and roared angrily, his eyes red, and shouted, "I'm going to kill you." Boom! A divine hammer was struck directly in front of Jingao's face, instantly blowing up Jingao's head and divine body. Xiong Zhantian took back the divine hammer. "Sorry, you can't do it." After staying in the Jinji family for about half a quarter of an hour, after seeing enough of the fear and pain of the Jinji family, Xiong Zhantian killed all of them and then left. Behind him, the rich smell of blood filled the entire world. The other two, the family's hidden ancestral land, is also experiencing massacre. No one can escape at all. The gap is too big. Even people with the peak of the immortal god and demon realm cannot compete with Xiong Zhantian and others who have become Kinglan warriors. Sadism, it was easy for them. Not long after Xiong Zhantian and the others returned to the Taoan family, Meng Zhan also brought Emperor Dong with them. Once they came back here and took away the boundary stone, there would be nothing worth keeping in the Taoan family. Walk. Let's go back to the human imperial city first, seal the abyss, and then go to the divine martial heaven realm together. Meng Zhan did not rush into the Shinwu heaven realm to kill people, because the strength of the god and demon realm is not strong now. There are only 10 Kinglan warriors like Xiong Zhantian, and if people die in the god and demon realm, it is impossible for the ancient tribes of the Shinwu heaven realm to do so. They noticed it, so there was no need to worry. They knew that there was still time. Phew! A gate of time and space opened up. Meng Zhan took Xiong Zhantian and the others back to the human emperor city. At this moment, in the human emperor palace of the human emperor city, Bai Linglong, she was imprisoned here by the power of the world of gods and demons, but she did not panic. Instead, she summoned her father's soul mark. "Daddy, I'm being bullied, you have to make the decision for me." A majestic illusory figure had just condensed. Hearing this, he was immediately shocked and angry. He looked at Bai Linglong and said, "Who dares to bully my precious daughter?" Bai Linglong looked aggrieved and said, "He bullied me, saying that I am his now." Bai Xiaotian. Bai Xiaotian looked at her speechlessly. He would definitely not believe Bai Linglong's nonsense. With his things to protect him and his soul imprint, how could it be possible? Stop messing around and tell me what's going on, Bai Xiaotian scolded. When Bai Linglong explained the matter, Bai Xiaoshan's face suddenly changed slightly and said, "You left the divine martial heaven realm and came to another ordinary world." Bai Linglong shrank her head and muttered in a low voice, "I just came to take a stroll. Bai Xiaotian has a headache. If something happens to Bai Linglong in another world and he can't find a way out, it will be useless no matter how strong he is. He can only worry." After guarding the abyss for 1 billion years, when he returned, his family became a criminal clan. Author, Top 47. Chapter 83. What a nonsense you are. Bai Xiaotian can't do anything about his daughter. He can't bear to beat her and scolds her, but it also hurts her. When that person comes, I will have a good chat with him. It shouldn't be a problem for you. Bai Xiaotian comforted Bai Linglong, but he had not released Bai Linglong's imprisonment. He had to teach this girl a lesson, otherwise he would not be able to piss him off in the future. As for his body, he had already made some moves at this moment. Planning to find the heavenly sword divine sect and then find a passage to the world of gods and demons. Buzz. It didn't take long. As the space in the human emperor's palace rippled slightly, Meng Zhan brought Dong Emperor Yi and the others back here, and appeared in front of Bai Xiaotian and Bai Linglong in front of him. Meng Zhan glanced at Bai Xiaoshan's soul mark incarnation, walked to the human emperor's throne and sat on it. "Bai Xiaotian, have you been ignored?" But he didn't get angry, because although his soul mark was somewhat powerful, his daughter also had treasures in her body. But if the person in front of you is a world lord, then things will be very troublesome. He wants to come to the world of gods and demons, and Bai Linglong wants to leave the world of gods and demons, but there may not be a chance. Bai Xiaotian looked at Meng Zhan, and after Meng Zhan sat down, he said, "My name is Bai Xiaotian, and Bai Linglong is my little daughter. This little brother, if my little girl does anything to offend, please be merciful. If you can let her go, then let me ask you whatever you want." Meng Zhan looked at Bai Xiaoshan's incarnation for a while, then said, "I can let her go, but there is one thing I really want to do. Please trouble the White King." Bai Xiaotian was startled, and then said, "Little brother, just say it." Meng Zhan nodded slightly and said, "You should have talked with your daughter. Who did she follow to the world of gods and demons? Then I must also know that the hatred between me and them is a life and death hatred. In the past, all the members of my Meng family died at their hands. Now that I, Meng Zhan, naturally want to find them all and send them down to avenge their blood. So I want to ask King Tian to help me find the whereabouts of two families, one named Chenjia family and one named Zhou Wang family. These two families, as well as the Taoan family and 4 other families, all went to the Shenwu heavenly realm hundreds of millions of years ago, and they are still within the sphere of influence of your Bai family. I think this matter is not difficult for the White King." Meng Zhan looked at Bai Xiaotian and said, "At the cost of the whereabouts of these two families, how about I let Miss Bai go?" Bai Xiaotian said, "No problem. As long as they appear within the sphere of influence of our Bai family, then I will definitely be able to find them. Give me some time." Meng Zhan said, "Okay, 10 years. Bai Xiaoshan's mouth twitched. 10 years. Such a short time? You must know that the Bai family is very large, and you may not be able to find it if you search for it." But he had no objection, just looked at Meng Zhan, and asked again one sentence, "Little brother is the master of the world of gods and demons." Meng Zhan looked at him without saying a word. Bai Xiaotian knew what was going on, and the incarnation disappeared immediately, and turned into a soul mark again and fell into Bai Linglong's body. Bai Linglong pouted and looked at Meng Zhan. "Hey, Meng Zhan. Why don't you say 100 million years? Even if it takes tens of millions of years, then I don't have to go back so soon. Only 10 years. Meng Zhan's eyes were cold, staring into Bai Linglong's eyes. The coldness and killing intent made Bai Linglong's whole body suddenly frightened. Bai Linglong's face turned pale with fright, and she instantly covered her mouth with both hands and closed it. Mouth. He waved his hand and moved Bai Linglong to a palace to stay. Meng Zhan looked at Emperor Dong and the others. When I was investigating before, in addition to discovering the hidden clans of the 4 ancient clans, I also discovered the hiding places of those who had escaped before. Next, you go and clean them up thoroughly. Dong Emperor 1, Xiong Zhantian and the others took orders and said yes, the human emperor. Then, Meng Zhan once again checked the positions of those people through the world's origin seeds, and recorded them one by one, and passed them on to Emperor Dong and them. Then he opened a door to time and space and asked each of them to take charge of one place. Wait until Dong after the emperor and the others left. Meng Zhan had some free time to observe the changes in his first catastrophe after breaking through the 9 tribulations realm of gods and demons. In addition to the divine realm and the seeds of the Great Tribulation, the world of gods and demons had some changes. It seemed that as he after breaking through the gods and demons in the 9 tribulation realm, the world of gods and demons has gradually transformed and improved. If the origin of the world of gods and demons could only be used to refine 500 green scale warriors before, then now, it can already be used to sacrifice more than 10 more. This source of power he is still slowly getting stronger. Take another look at his cultivation realm and magical powers. Although his cultivation realm has been raised to the level of the 9 tribulations realm of gods and demons, his magical powers have not yet followed, so he has only 10 directions of purgatory and tyrant heaven. The 2 of them have been promoted to the entry-level of 9 tribulations gods and demons. There are still many divine and demonic points, which are enough to improve your magical powers. After being promoted, you can plan to break through the second calamity by going to the divine martial heaven realm. Meng Zhan closed his eyes and began to improve. Divine martial heaven realm. Bai Xiaotian had already rushed towards the Tianjian Shen zone, but after making an agreement with Meng Zhan, he felt confident and quickly turned around and returned to the Bai family. Soon, Bai Xiaotian sent an order to the entire Bai family. Try to find. 2 families appeared within the family's sphere of influence hundreds of millions of years ago. One was named the Qinjiao family and the other was named the King Zhou family. Within 5 years, I want to know their whereabouts. Wow! Bai Xiaotian gave the order, and the entire Bai family suddenly became a sensation. Countless Bai family members quickly contacted all parties to look for these 2 families who only had names and no other clues. Soon, within the Bai family's sphere of influence, people, as well as forces outside the Bai family, were all shocked by the news of the Bai family. Qianguan City. Qian Yunlong has been paying attention to the news of the Bai family since he returned to Qianguan City. Meng Zhan really impressed him too much. Deep. As soon as the gods and demons broke through the 9 tribulation realm, the calamity clouds of the first calamity swept hundreds of billions of miles away, and the magical power used to kill the Tianjian Tribulation Lord, the leader of the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect, was equally extraordinary. Like this, people are definitely not simple. However, this person has now captured Bai Linglong, the little princess of the Bai family. This is the little sweetheart of the Bai family. The Bai family will definitely not just ignore it. When the news of the Bai family comes out after that, Qian Yunlong immediately received the news, but this news made him a little shocked, looking for 2 families. Qinjiao family and Zhou Wang family. What kind of family is this? I have never heard of it. Senseless. Qian Yunlong originally thought that the Bai family would be looking for Meng Zhan, but who knew that now they were looking for 2 strange families? Wrong. Qian Yunlong's heart moved slightly, his brows furrowed, and he whispered, this is not the Bai family who is looking for it, but that Meng Zhan is looking for it. Meng Zhan had obviously never been to this area before, so he also said that it was his first time here. But he had hatred for this, and he killed the Lord of Heavenly Sword Tribulation as soon as they met. Obviously, the two families that the Bai family is looking for now are the enemies that Meng Zhan is looking for. Thinking about it, everything made sense. Qian Yunlong thought for a moment and stood up. He wanted to go to Tianjian Shenzong to check and see if Meng Zhan had any grudge against Tianjian Shenzong. See if those two clues about the family, if there are any, leave it to the Bai family. Maybe they can make good friends with both the Bai family and Meng Zhan. Gone. Qian Yunlong tore apart the space with his hand, used his magical power to forcibly open a passage, and headed towards the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect at high speed. On the other side, in a divine city, the genius of the Huayan family, Huayan Libra, who had just taken over the power of his father-in-law's family, received after an order came from the Bai family. Everyone was dumbfounded. Huayan Libra said in shock, looking for the Chenjia family and the Zhou Wang family. Why would the Bai family look for these two families? Besides, his wife Xiao Sueru asked doubtfully, "Husband, what's wrong?" Huayan Libra explained the matter. Xiao Sueru's eyes sparkled and she said, "Husband, do you know where these two families have gone? If we know, then we will definitely benefit from the Bai family if we pass this news to the Bai family." Huayan Libra was heartbroken when he heard this. But it's a pity. After they came here, the Chenjia family and the Zhou Wang family left on their own. Who knows where they are now? Huayan Libra shook his head and said regretfully, "I didn't know that we had lost contact after those two families left." Xiao Sueru's face was slightly disappointed. Then she said, "It's really strange. Not long ago, the head of the Sword God sect was killed that day. Now the Bai family is so aggressive in looking for someone. I don't know what happened. Matter." Speaking of the Tianjian Shenzong, Huayan Libra thought of the Taoan family. But something happened to the Tianjian Shenzong, which had nothing to do with the Huayan family, and had no impact. So Huayan Libra didn't think much about it. Just secretly, he was also there. Quietly try to track down the whereabouts of the two families. If they are found, the benefits of the Bai family will be enough to make the two families stronger. But the Taoan family in another divine city. They were originally worried about the Tianjian Shenzong. As for the headaches and worries, after hearing the news about the Bai family, for some reason, the Douyin family had an ominous premonition in their hearts. Why? But no matter how they thought about it, they didn't expect it to be related to the world of gods and demons. They didn't know that their family would be in disaster. The world of gods and demons. Meng Zhan imprisoned Bai Linglong and ignored her. Although Bai Linglong was yelling and noisy, he asked him to chat with her or let her go out to play. But Meng Zhan didn't bother her, so how could there be so much nonsense? After raising several magical powers to a small level, Meng Zhan will keep the points of gods and demons, waiting to be promoted to the second calamity of gods and demons in the 9 tribulations realm. Then, he brought back 10 brothers from the previous demon-suppressing army. After asking them about their wishes, he sent them to the altar of gods and demons to become blue-scale warriors. 1 year later, 10 blue-scale warriors came out and led the demon-suppressing army again, heading into the abyss. Completely solved the problem of the Abyss Demon clan. Meng Zhan walked with them, waved his hand to open a gate of time and space, and came to the Abyss Passage. Looking at the Abyss Passage in front of them, Meng Zhan and others' eyes were filled with coldness, and their murderous intent was undisguised. "Abyss demons, how many people from my demon-suppressing army have you killed?" You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After guarding the abyss for a billion years, when he returned, his family became a criminal clan. Author, Top 47. Chapter 84. Becoming the master of the world of gods and demons, Meng Zhan can already mobilize some of the power of the gods and demons, including killing people with the power of the gods and demons. It's just that there are some special places in the world of gods and demons. Such as Jedi. Such as the Abyss. These places are isolated from the power of the gods and demons, or in other words, it is difficult for Mengjian to mobilize the power of the gods and demons in these places. As for the reason, Mengjian had some guesses in his mind. This moment, Mengjian brought 10 blue-scale warriors to the Abyss Passage. As early as when he killed the 9-headed Saint King and other immortal gods and demons of the Abyss Demon Clan, as well as Yu Huahua and others, the Abyss Demon Clan had already the rout began, and everyone fled back into the Abyss. Now even if there is no one guarding here, not a single Abyss Demon Clan has appeared. However, there are many annoying Abyss monsters. The entire Abyss Passage is occupied. Boom. A green-scale warrior took action and slapped out a palm. All the Abyss monsters that rushed out of the Abyss Passage were killed, but the bodies remained. Whoosh whoosh. One by one, the demon-suppressing armies gathered and came to Meng. Fight behind them. Bang. At this moment, the uniform team knelt down on one knee, bowed their heads respectfully, and shouted in unison greetings to the human emperor. This cry was so loud that it shook the sky. Buzz. Mengjian turned around and looked at the gods and demons of the demon-suppressing army. They experienced bloody battles again and again, tempering between life and death. Now this demon-suppressing army has become a bit like it used to be. Then he said to waved at the demon-suppressing army. Between heaven and earth, one ray after another of divine power was integrated into the body of this group of demon-suppressing army. In an instant, the aura of this group of demon-suppressing army surged. I grant you immortal power for 1 month. Within a month, kill all the Abyss demons and monsters. Can it be done? Boom. The auras of the demon-suppressing army surged, and everyone's eyes widened, including Hao Yun. Although she had experienced it once before, she felt the power given by Mengjian again at this moment. Hao Yun still couldn't hide the excitement in her heart. Excited and surprised. The other demon-suppressing troops were all in an uproar and shocked. They felt the surge of power in their bodies, and looked at the figure in front of them with unbelievable eyes. His Majesty, the human emperor, could actually give them such terror. The power? And not just 1 or 2 people, but the entire demon-suppressing army of 30 million people. Thank you for the gift of the emperor. Bang. The demon-suppressing army knelt down again and shouted with excitement. Then, when they stood up together, they held their heads high and their chests high, and the terrifying aura rising from their bodies instantly shook the sky and made countless stars tremble. They shouted loudly, "We will definitely live up to the emperor's expectations." Mengjian nodded and said, "Okay. Then go in." Huh. Mengjian waved his hand and collected the corpses of all the Abyss monsters into the system, and prompts appeared one after another. The points of gods and demons started to accumulate like a dozen or so points. Although there is a little less, if the Abyss monsters and the Abyss monsters are eliminated dropped, the number is definitely huge. Whoosh. Mengjian rushed into the Abyss first, followed closely by 10 blue-scale warriors. He led the demon-suppressing army and followed Mengjian into the Abyss. In the dim world. Mengjian. Zhan came back here again. When he passed through the Abyss Passage, on the opposite side of the Abyss, he saw layer after layer of seals, blocking the front. Phew. A blue-scale warrior took a step forward, and with the hand blade was slashed out. The world was shattered under the hand blade. The layers of seals in front of them were like tofu dregs, and they were instantly cut through. Kill. Mengjian passed through the passage and stepped into the Abyss. The 10 blue-scale warriors behind him immediately shouted loudly and led all the demon-suppressing troops to rush away. The world of the Abyss was dark. At the moment the seal was broken, suddenly, there was an Abyss demon with his eyes widened. Without thinking, he directly got into the abyss monster around him and escaped. Run away. The human race is coming, and the human race's gods and demons are coming. All the abyss demons are panicking. These abyss demons are the unlucky ones who are ordered to watch the passage here. There are not many of them. Although it has been expected that one day the human race will fight into the abyss again, just like even if they went out and wreaked havoc in the human territory, the human race would not let them go. But when this moment really came, the fear in the hearts of these abyss demons was stronger than they imagined. Their mentality suddenly collapsed. Roar! When they were escaping, the countless abyss monsters that had already gathered here were expelled and roared in an instant, and they started to kill crazily towards the passage. However, the next moment, all the abyss monsters outside the passage, together with the abyss demons who hid among the abyss demons and wanted to take the opportunity to escape, stopped for a moment and stood still. The power of time and space permeated all directions. Under the control of Mengjian, they seemed to have stagnated. Boom! There was blood flowing from the mouths of these abyss monsters and demons. The life breath of the densely packed billions of abyss monsters and demons suddenly disappeared. The world between heaven and earth fell silent again. Hiss! The group of demon-suppressing troops behind them were all shocked. They looked at Mengjian with respect and ardor. They could determine the life and death of countless abyss monsters and demons in an instant. Such strength is definitely a level that they can't even dream of. This is their human emperor. Whoosh! Mengjian waved his hand and took the corpses of these guys into the system, replacing them all with god and demon points. Then he looked at the 10 blue scale warriors and said, "Go ahead." Yes, the human emperor. 10 people listened respectfully to the order, and then one of them went to kill in one direction. Each blue scale warrior has the combat power at the peak of the original god and demon realm, and each of them is enough to sweep across the abyss. Now 10 people are dispatched, plus the suppressor demonic army. It will be no problem to clean up the abyss. With the blue scale warriors taking action, it should be too late to clean up the abyss within 10 years and then seal it, Mengjian secretly thought in his heart. He watched the 10 blue scale warriors leading the demon suppressing army away. Mengjian's figure also disappeared in an instant. He was going to the home of the 9-headed Saint Lord and other abyss Saint Lords. In addition to destroying these, in addition to the Guy's clan, there are also thoughts of accumulating some god and demon points on their own. Sea of Demons. The ancestor of the military strategist looked at an island in front of him. His face was red and green, his aura was still a little floating, and he had already suffered some injuries. Damn it! How come there are terrifying sea monsters gathering on any island? He cursed angrily in a low voice. Along the way, many gods and demons from their military clan died. If it weren't for the fact that most of their clansmen were in his divine domain, they would have died on the way to Tianye Light. They had already encountered several islands along the way. When they encountered the first island, they were full of surprises and rushed to the island excitedly, planning to hide on the island. However, not yet when they landed on the island, a group of seabirds and raptors came out. 2 of the demon kings almost killed the military ancestors. It was really terrifying. And now, on this 6th island, the military ancestors also discovered it. The existence of a demon king is comparable to the realm of immortal gods and demons. He tried it several times and suffered some injuries. This made the ancestor of the military strategist very helpless and a little desperate. The Sea of Demons is really not a place for humans to stay. Such a thought came to mind. The ancestor of the military strategist clenched his fists, and there was more or less hatred in his eyes. If that guy was so awesome and started killing people among the human race, their military strategists would not have to end up in this situation. Gone. If you can't occupy this island, you can only continue to go into the Sea of Demons. The ancestor of the military strategist left cautiously. But at this time, his expression suddenly changed drastically, because the space in front of him rippled. In the blink of an eye, the void of heaven and earth was torn open, and a terrifying aura of destruction rushed into the sky. Rushed towards my face, making the military ancestor's divine body instantly feel horrified. Not good. The ancestor of the military strategist immediately wanted to use his magical power, turned around and ran away. He couldn't even tear apart the sky and the earth in the sea of demons. It would definitely not be a good thing for such a being to come in vain. Wow! Xianyuan Moxio's figure, from that moment he stepped out of the crack in the void, his eyes fell on the military ancestor, and he raised his eyebrows slightly. The bloodline aura of a military strategist. The Xianyuan family used to be one of the Shi Liaoding families. At that time, the Bing family was also one of the Shi Liaoding families. Xianyuan Moxio was naturally not unfamiliar with the blood and aura of the Bing family. He did not expect that the Bing family would escape into in the sea of demons. He is really not afraid of death. Keng. Xianyuan Moxio moved the light sword in his hand, and a ray of cold light flashed between heaven and earth. The sword in his hand was sheathed. Ahead. The ancestor of the military strategist who wanted to use his magical power to escape, the body fled forward. But the brain button suddenly fell from his neck. A ray of primitive divine power invaded the body of the military ancestor, annihilating all his immortal aura. Then the divine realm collapsed suddenly at the moment the military ancestor died. The members of the Bing family who were still in the divine realm were dumbfounded when they saw the collapse of the ancestor of the Bing family's divine realm, which was no less than the destruction of the world. A chill suddenly emerged from the bottom of their hearts. No, no, no. The ancestor is dead? How could the ancestor die? Oh, I gotta get out, damn it. The soldiers, gods, and demons screamed in despair. They stared at the collapsed divine realm with wide eyes. Their divine power exploded and they were about to rush out of the divine realm. But an unimaginable force suddenly came at this moment. They were swept away, suppressed it again. Boom! The divine realm was destroyed. All the military strategists inside were dead. After Xianyuan Moxio took out a sword, he turned around and left. Another crack was torn in the void in front of him. He was going to the next place to kill the rest. The people were cleared out. And this kind of situation is still happening in various Jedi? I originally thought that by escaping to the Jedi, they could use the power of the Jedi to avoid being hunted. As long as they did not die in the Jedi, then they could at least survive. But Dong Emperor Yi, Xiong Zhantian, and the others came in vain, shattering their illusions. A few years later, Meng Zhan had returned to the human imperial city for 4 years, and with the remaining magical materials on hand, 23 people became the green scale warriors possess combat power comparable to the peak of the original gods and demons. Still waiting for news from Bai Xiaotian, suddenly, a wave of fluctuations came from the human fairy court token in Meng Zhan's mind. Meng Zhan's eyes Guang suddenly condensed. After guarding the abyss for 1 billion years, when he returned, his family became a criminal clan. Author, Top 47. Chapter 85. The demons from outside the territory are eyeing Xinhuatianja, and there are already human traitors lurking in Xinhuatianja, trying to seize Xinhuatianja. This is the message passed down from the human race's fairy court. What are extraterritorial demons? They are demons outside the human race's territory in the Sea of Chaos, or demons from outside the world controlled by the human race. Like the 9 tribulation lords sealed in the abyss, the sky-blooded demonic beast is an extraterrestrial demon clan. There are countless worlds of gods and demons under the human race's immortal court. Among them, the divine martial heavenly realm is one of them. As for the extraterritorial demon clan, they also control many worlds and compete with the human race for the world. Then it is a common thing. Meng Zhan looked at this piece of information and pondered for a moment. If the Xinwu heavenly realm is really going to be targeted by the demons from outside the territory, then this is not an opportunity. The opportunity for him to enter it with the green scale soldiers. The mission of the system is to control the world of gods and demons and kill the demon in the abyss. Now that I have control of the world of gods and demons, I just want to kill that demon, Meng Zhan secretly thought. It was a few years later. On this day, Meng Zhan's heart moved slightly. He waved his hand. Bai Linglong appeared in the human emperor's palace. When she saw Meng Zhan, Bai Linglong's little eyes widened and she became angry. Goody looked at Meng Zhan. This guy was so bullying that he locked himself up alone. He didn't even say a word. Buzz. Bai Xiaoshan's soul mark appeared incarnate, looked at Meng Zhan, hesitated for a moment, and said, I have already found the two families you asked me to look for. However, this may not be good news for you. Because these two families have already joined the human race immortal court, some people have been favored by the people from the Xinwu Heaven Realm Fairy Court and have now joined the Xinwu Immortal Army. This is a force of the human immortal court in the Divine Martial Heaven Realm, and is used to protect the Divine Martial Heaven Realm. It's impossible for you to touch the people of the Xinwu Immortal Army. It's impossible for me. The power of the human immortal court in the Divine Martial Heaven Realm. Divine Martial Immortal Army. Meng Zhan looked at Bai Xiaotian and said, Wang Bai should be able to tell me all their information. Bai Xiaotian nodded okay. Bai Xiaotian pointed out, and a ray of spiritual consciousness fell on Meng Zhan's hand. Meng Zhan merged into his soul, and it contained information about Bai Xiaoshan's investigation of the Qinjiao family and the Zhou Wang family. These two, the family is indeed doing well now. They have all mixed into the most powerful force in the Xinwu Heavenly Realm, the human race immortal court's power left in the Xinwu Heavenly Realm. With the identity of the Xinwu Immortal Army, it can be said that they can basically be in the Xinwu Heavenly Realm. Walking sideways. Compared with the Taoan family and other four families, it is a world. It is understandable that there has been no contact for so many years. After checking all the information of the two families, Meng Zhan looked up at Bai Xiaotian and smiled lightly. Said, Wang Baitian thinks that I can't touch both families. Bai Xiaotian. Not only can't move. If those two families know your existence, I'm afraid they will find a way to get rid of you. Bai Xiaotian pondered for a moment, sighed slightly and shook his head. The Xinwu Immortal Army is a special existence. Among them, there are countless gods and demons in the Nine Tribulations realm. The most powerful ones have even surpassed the Nine Tribulations gods and demons. They guard the entire Xinwu Immortal Army. The terrifying existence of heaven. With such strength, little brother, do you think you can deal with them? No, you can't even get close to the Xinwu Immortal Army, otherwise you will definitely be killed. Unless you also join the Xinwu Immortal Army, but in this case, you cannot attack those two families, because breaking military regulations will also result in death. Meng Zhan said, what if I come from the immortal court of the human race? Buzz. A ray of divine power suddenly came out from Meng Zhan at this moment. In an instant, it swept the world and shocked the world of gods and demons. And the incarnation of Bai Xiaoshan's soul mark who was in it, at this moment, his eyes suddenly widened. He looked at Meng Zhan and felt the aura of divine power on Meng Zhan. Bai Xiaotian exclaimed with a trembling voice, the divine envoy of the human race immortal court. Poof. Bai Xiaotian, the little king of the Xinwu Heaven realm and the head of the Bai family, knelt down towards Meng Zhan at this moment and said with a bit of fear, Bai Xiaotian, the Bai family of the Xinwu Heaven realm, pays homage to the divine envoy of the immortal court. The divine envoy of the immortal court of the human race. This position is countless times more noble than the controller of the immortal court of the divine martial heaven realm. No matter who it is, when they see the divine envoy of the immortal court, they must kneel down and salute. Not to mention him in the divine martial heaven realm. The leader of a small force. Meng Zhan stood up, and the divine power of the human race immortal court token on his body became more and more intense and terrifying, even overwhelming Bai Xiaotian, the incarnation of the Nine Tribulations Master's soul mark, and was a little breathless. Angry and terrified, Bai Xiaotian quickly bowed his head and said in fear, "Please forgive me, God." It is Bai Xiaotian who has no eyesight and does not recognize the body of the divine envoy. Meng Zhan looked at Bai Xiaotian like this, his expression unchanged, and he secretly marveled at the power of this human fairy court token. It was so terrifying. Just exuding its divine power, this identity can, let Bai Xiaotian, the Nine Tribulation Lord, known as the Little Heavenly King in the Xinwu Heaven realm, kneel down and worship. After a moment, Meng Zhan looked at Bai Xiaotian and said, "Do you think I can deal with those two families now?" Bai Xiaotian raised his eyebrows when he heard this and hesitated this. If you were to come to the Xinwu Heavenly realm, it would be easy to deal with the two small families in the Xinwu Immortal Army. It would be easier than crushing two ants. Bai Xiaotian said without any hesitation. Compared with the divine envoys of the human race Immortal Court, what are the small soldiers of the Immortal Court in the Xinwu Heaven realm? There is no comparison at all. Meng Zhan nodded, with the human race Immortal Court on his body. The token's aura of divine power subsided, and he looked at Bai Xiaotian and said, "That's good. Get ready, I will take your daughter to the Xinwu Heaven realm in a moment. And when the time comes, I'm afraid I'll have to trouble you a little bit." Bai Xiaotian was pleasantly surprised. Firstly, his daughter was fine, and secondly, because Meng Zhan seemed to be willing to get close to him. This is a human race divine envoy from the Immortal Court. If the Bai family had such a distinguished existence, then maybe you can leave the divine martial heaven realm in the future and go to the Immortal Court of the human race in the Sea of Chaos. Yes. Go and prepare now, little one, to welcome the arrival of the divine envoy. Bai Xiaotian asked clearly where Meng Zhan came, and then the incarnation of the soul mark dissipated and returned to Bai Linglong's body. At this moment, Bai Linglong was dumbfounded. Her eyes widened, and her pretty face was full of disbelief. Her father was a very arrogant person with a very bad temper. He never had a good attitude toward other people except in front of her. But just now, her father actually knelt down and worshipped? You, Bai Linglong looked at Meng Zhan and wanted to say, "You are so strong," but when Meng Zhan stared at her, Bai Linglong's neck instinctively shrank, and her delicate body trembled, like a frightened kitten. I dare not say anything anymore. But in her heart, being stared at by Meng Zhan like this always made her feel a little strange. The more powerful and fierce Meng Zhan was, the more excited Bai Linglong felt. Even the pores trembled and dilated. This is the only man she has ever seen who can defeat her father. Meng Zhan glanced at Bai Linglong, and saw that her complexion suddenly changed from slightly pale to a hint of flush, and he didn't know what she was thinking. Meng Zhan said indifferently, "Wait here for now." Whoosh. Meng Zhan went to the ancestral land of the human emperor clan and stayed with Teng Qianqian for a while. The child in Teng Qianqian's belly showed no sign of coming out yet, and the foundation of gods and demons was still absorbing the original power of the world of gods and demons, growing little by little. It will probably take some time. This time I go to Xinwu Heavenly Realm, I am afraid I will have to stay for a while before coming back. So Meng Zhan stayed with Teng Qianqian for half a month. When Meng Zhan appeared in the human emperor's palace again, 47 green-scale warriors including Dong Huangdi and Xiong Zhantian also gathered here. But Meng Zhan had no intention of taking them all to the divine martial heaven realm. Leave 17 people to guard the world of gods and demons, and let Emperor Dong wait for 30 people to go there together. Buzz. When Meng Zhan's divine power was poured into the boundary stone leading to the Xinwu Heaven realm, the time and space of the heaven and earth suddenly fluctuated violently, and a passage was formed. Meng Zhan grabbed Bai Linglong and jumped in directly. "Let's go to Xinwu Heaven realm." Swish swish. Dong Emperor Yi and the others followed closely behind. On the other side, the divine martial heaven realm. After Bai Xiaotian found out the whereabouts of the Qinjiao family and the Zhou Wang family, he was mentally prepared that Meng Zhan would be in big trouble. Because this time the Bai family's vigorous search for the whereabouts of the two families will inevitably attract the attention of the Xinyu Immortal Army. It is estimated that it will not take long for the Chen Yu family and the Zhou Wang family to know about this matter. Then the next step is the trouble of Meng Zhan. But when Meng Zhan revealed the divine aura of the human race immortal court token, Bai Xiaoshan's body was shocked and shouted out, "Human race immortal court divine envoy." After some communication with Meng Zhan, Bai Xiaotian had already too excited to be myself. His face was full of excitement and surprise. He rushed out of the hall and shouted to his servants, "Quickly, clean the whole Bai family and decorate it for me. We must have the most noble lineup to welcome the distinguished guests." With that, Bai Xiaotian was about to go to the sky. The sword god Sec's territory welcomes Meng Zhan's arrival. But before he left, there were waves of aura coming to the Bai family. "Welcome distinguished guests. Haha, could it be that the king of daytime knew that we were coming, so he was ready to welcome us? Have a heart." This group of people descended on the Bai family. The leader of the group had an unusual aura. Although he did not reach the level of a 9 tribulations lord, he was already a 6 tribulations lord. The most important thing is that these people have the divine armor and attire of the Xinyu Immortal Army have already shown their origin. The Xinyu Immortal Army. Bai Xiaoshan's face changed slightly. The Xinyu Immortal Army moved so fast. It's just 2 small families who have just joined the Xinyu Immortal Army. Do they need to work like this? Bai Xiaotian hesitated for a moment, then stretched out his hand to invite them into the hall, looking at the 6 tribulations lord, who should be a captain of the Xinyu Immortal Army. "I don't know why you came to Bai's house for important business." The team leader looked indifferent, pointed to the 2 people around him, and said, "These 2, one is from the Qinjiao family, and the other is from the Zhou Wang family. I heard that the Bai family is searching for the whereabouts of their family in a big way recently, so I wanted to come and see if there is anything that could offend the Bai family. If so, I hope Wang Haihan will be there in the future." After guarding the abyss for 1,000,000,000 years, when he returned, his family became a criminal clan. Author, Top 47. Chapter 86. "You are wrong, they did not offend our Bai family." Bai Xiaotian shook his head, looked at them and said, "If you don't mind, you can stay in my Bai family first. I have something else to do and I have to go out." When the team leader heard this, his brows suddenly furrowed. He stared at Bai Xiaotian with cold eyes and said, "King Bai, it's very disrespectful for you to say this. Your Bai family is so mobilized to search for the Chen Yu family and the Zhou Wang family. What is the reason? Can Wang Tian tell you? Besides, you left right after we arrived. Is this your attitude when welcoming distinguished guests?" Bai Xiaotian almost laughed out loud. A ray of divine power appeared in his eyes. He stared at the team leader and said calmly, "When did I say that you are honored guests? Okay, you guys can stay at Bai's house first. If there's anything else, let's talk about it when I get back." Bai Xiaotian asked an 8 tribulations ancestor to come out of seclusion to entertain this group of people, mainly to keep an eye on them, not to let them cause trouble, and not to let them leave. Afterwards, Bai Xiaotian hurriedly left the Bai family, go to the area where Meng Zhan came. The Bai family. The face of the 6 tribulations lord of the Xinyu Immortal Army became gloomy and extremely ugly. Bai Xiaoshan's chuckle and the words, "When did I say you are honored guests," it made him feel particularly harsh and heart-wrenching. Okay. The Bai family, even the Xinyu Immortal Army, dare not look down upon it. I, He Lianyu, will remember today. He Lianyu laughed angrily, blushed and cursed angrily. Beside him, the faces of those who followed him were not very good looking. Especially the 2 people from the Qinjiao family and the Zhou Wang family. I originally thought that the identity of the Xinyu Immortal Army was dispatched, and it would be easy for them to come to the Bai family to do things. Understandably, the Bai family did not dare to go against the Shinwu immortal army. The reason why the Bai family searched for these two families with great fanfare could also be figured out. But they did not expect it. How dare Bai Xiaotian treat their captain like this? Team leader. This Bai family really doesn't know how to praise, how dare they be so arrogant? A member of the Qinjiao family gritted his teeth and whispered. He Lianyu snorted coldly and said nothing. He just walked out and said, "Let's go." However, when they saw the 8 tribulations ancestor of the Bai family blocking the main hall, a condensed power suddenly erupted from He Lianyu. Bai family. Do you want to provoke our human race's immortal court divine martial immortal army? He Lianyu shouted coldly. On the far edge of the Bai family, where the Tianjian Shenzone, Jianguan City and other forces are located, Bai Xiaotian gave an order. This made all the Bai family members in the nearby area move. Hurry up! The head of the family has ordered that everyone must go out to welcome an honored guest from my Bai family. Everyone has reminded me, speak less, move less, just watch, don't mess up the family master's important affairs, otherwise I won't let him have an easy time even if the family master can't spare him. Walk. Every member of the Bai family in the Divine City mobilized and gathered in a Divine City next to the Tianjian Shenzone. They were waiting for the arrival of the family leader Bai Xiaotian. Such movements from the Bai family shocked everyone in the nearby Divine City, and everyone all eyes fell on this Divine City. What happened to the Bai family? Qian Yunlong is also paying attention to the movements of the Bai family. He originally wanted to check the whereabouts of the Qinjiao family and the King Zhou family, but he couldn't find them, so he had to give up. Now he sees such movements in the Bai family. Still here. Qian Yunlong's previous guess became more certain. It must be because of that battle. Qian Yunlong frowned. Could it be that if the Bai family wants to take action by force, the little princess of the Bai family, Bai Linglong, will fall from Meng Zhan's hands, right? Boom. At this time, an extremely terrifying aura tore through the void in vain, and suddenly descended on the sacred city where everyone from the Bai family gathered. Feeling the arrival of this terrifying aura, Qian Yunlong's face suddenly changed, and he was shocked. He stood up and looked up. When he saw this, he was suddenly shocked and said, "Lord of 9 tribulations." The head of the Bai family, little heavenly king Bai Xiaotian, actually came in person. Bai Xiaotian came. The expressions of some 9 tribulation realm gods and demons who were paying attention to the Bai family's movements also changed at this moment, especially those who knew that Bai Linglong, the little princess of the Bai family, had been captured by Meng Zhan. Demon, my heart pounded inexplicably, and I was a little panicked. Oops. Bai Xiaotian, the little king of the Bai family, actually came in person. Bai Xiaotian came, and there was no nonsense. It looked like there were tens of thousands of original gods of the Bai family. The clansmen above the demon realm gathered together, and there were more than 100 gods and demons from the 9 tribulations realm. He nodded with satisfaction. Not bad, this lineup is barely enough. Come with me to greet you. Bai Xiaotian took everyone in the Bai family and left the Divine City, heading to the mountain where Meng Zhan had overcome the tribulation. Whoosh! Qian Yunlong and other gods and demons in the 9 tribulations realm appeared and watched the Bai family walk towards that mountain. Their brows are all furrowed. It's over, brother Yunlong. If that Meng Zhan is caught by the Bai family, he may be worse than dead. And 9 tribulation realm gods and demons sighed beside Qian Yunlong. Yes, why did he capture the little princess of the Bai family? So hard to think about. There are gods and demons in the 9 tribulations realm shaking their heads. The Bai family can't afford to offend them. I haven't seen Meng Zhan during this period. Maybe he has left. It depends on whether the Bai family can find him. The other gods and demons in the 9 tribulation realm all looked over there. Qian Yunlong didn't say anything. He had been to the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect before. But after a round of interrogation, they didn't find out why the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect offended Mengjian. Even Tian Sword Divine Sect offended Mengjian. No one in the Sword God sect knew who Mengjian was, and why they attacked their sect leader and killed the Lord of Heavenly Sword Tribulation. This was strange. On the other side, Bai Xiaotian led people to the mountains. He stayed on a sacred mountain and waited quietly. After waiting for a while, a tribesman asked curiously, "Master, who is this distinguished guest we are waiting for?" Bai Xiaotian scolded in a low voice, "Don't ask." When the other tribesmen saw this, they immediately shrank their necks and did not dare to say any more. They waited here for about 10 days, and finally there was a trace of time and space fluctuations in a valley ahead. In the blink of an eye, this time and space fluctuations it became intense and tore the space apart. Wow! A space-time channel appeared out of thin air. Whoosh! Whoosh! Mengjian took Bai Linglong, Emperor Dong behind him, and they followed one by one, and they suddenly landed in this valley. The strong aura of gods and demons hit his face. You can clearly feel the difference between the world of gods and demons and the world of gods and warriors. When they arrived at the world of gods and demons, Mengjian threw Bai Linglong in his hand to Emperor Dong and said, "Keep an eye on her, I'll go and cross it." Tribulation. Bai Linglong. Overcoming a tribulation? Why is the breakthrough you mentioned just for fun? Breakthrough if you want to. The Eastern Emperor banned Bai Linglong with a wave of his hand and said respectfully, "Yes, the human emperor." Whoosh! Mengjian took a step forward and came to the place where he had overcome the tribulation before. Looking at the lines of words that appeared in front of his eyes, he destroyed the abyss demons and monsters. He accumulated nearly 1 trillion points of gods and demons. These magic points are enough for him to make a big improvement in the future. Cultivation, 9 tribulations. Realm gods and demons. 1 tribulation, 137.6 billion gods and demons points. Rightward arrow. 2 tribulations. God and demon point, 962.81 billion. As Mengjian's thoughts moved, the word cultivation immediately changed. Cultivation, 9 tribulation. Realm gods and demons. 2nd tribulation, 275.2 billion gods and demons points. Rightward arrow. 3 tribulations. Boom! In Mengjian's body, the great calamity seed burst in vain at this moment, and a terrifying calamity power poured out from the inside out, instantly annihilating Mengjian's divine body, flesh, blood, and tendons. Zhyla! The terrifying force of the catastrophe swept across the sky. At that moment, the heaven and earth changed drastically. Countless tribulation clouds sprang up instantly, and in a short period of time, they had covered an area trillions of miles around. The thunder dragon suddenly appeared, and the sky shook. Countless people were shocked by this movement. Even the gods and demons in the 9 tribulations realm felt a little numb at this moment. The breath of this great calamity was really terrifying. In the mountains, Bai Xiaotian was quite happy and excited when he saw Mengjian appear. Just when he was about to take the Bai family members up to greet him, he saw Mengjian going far away alone. After that, an aura of great calamity that made Bai Xiaotian's face change slightly, erupted from Mengjian. When the terrifying calamity cloud enveloped the world and the thunder dragon swallowed in the calamity cloud, Bai Xiaotian was a little confused. He didn't expect that Mengjian would immediately go through the calamity as soon as he appeared. This was too much, a little reckless, right? Hiss. Every member of the Bai family stared at this unexpected scene with their mouths open. The aura of great calamity made them gasp for air and their hair tubes stood up. Break through the 2nd tribulation, Lord. Damn it, why are Mao's aura of great calamity and this calamity cloud so terrifying? Covering several trillion kilometers, this is too strong. No, why do I feel like this person is so familiar? How come I seem to have seen him before? In the distance. When Qian Yunlong and others saw Mengjian appear from the time and space channel, they were a little confused for a moment. And then as soon as Meng Zhan appeared, he went straight through the tribulation, which made them bite their tongues in shock. Grass. Overcoming the tribulation. What the hell, didn't he just survive the first calamity before? How long will it take for him to survive the second calamity? How can this be? They were dumbfounded. Qian Yunlong and the others looked up and saw the terrifying clouds of calamity that enveloped the world, and the endless thunder dragons tumbling in the clouds. The aura of great calamity was brewing and getting stronger, making their scalps feel numb. I instinctively felt panic. Is this really the second calamity? How could it be so terrifying? Boom. It didn't take long. Meng Zhan, who was in the center of the calamity cloud, began to survive the second calamity. The power of this second calamity was much more terrifying than the first calamity. Meng Zhan didn't even know how many times his divine body and divine realm had been destroyed. Reshaped so many times. When the calamity cloud dissipated and the aura of calamity slowly converged and disappeared, the calamity seed in his body had grown much stronger. There were 2 invisible traces on it. Get through during the second calamity of the gods and demons in the 9 tribulations realm, his strength increased tenfold and more than 100 times, especially the power of the great calamity in his body. Even the lord of Jianguan city, Qian Yunlong, who was the master of the 3 calamities, he was confident to kill with one halberd. After looking at his own information, Meng Zhan improved his magical power by several levels. At this time, Bai Xiaotian led the Bai family people over in a hurry. When he came to Meng Zhan, Bai Xiaotian knelt down respectfully. Kneeling down, he kowtowed and said, "Bai Xiaotian of the Bai family, respectfully welcome the arrival of the divine envoy. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." After guarding the abyss for a billion years, when he returned, his family became a criminal clan. Author, Top 47. Chapter 87. Seeing their master's posture, the group of Bai family members following Bai Xiaotian widened their eyes and were dumbfounded. Worry. The head of the family knelt down to this man? Is this the distinguished guest that the owner of the house said he wanted to welcome? The Bai family members were a little confused, but then they became excited and hurriedly knelt down to Meng Zhan along with their master. From a distance, the eyes of Qian Yunlong and others almost bulged out. What's the situation? The head of the Bai family actually knelt down to that man? He even brought the Bai family members with him. What's going on? Who is this Meng Zhan, who is worthy enough for the 9 tribulations master, little heavenly king Bai Xiaotian, to kneel down to greet him? Qian Yunlong gasped repeatedly, extremely frightened. He thought about many possibilities, including Bai Xiaotian catching Meng Zhan, frying him alive, breaking his bones and torturing him for hundreds of millions of years. But I never thought of this situation at all. Bai Linglong walked over with Emperor Dongyi and others. Seeing her father kneeling down to Meng Zhan again, and her own clansmen doing the same, Bai Linglong not only did not feel ashamed or angry, but she felt excited in her heart. Xiang Mingjin's eyes were a little confused. This man is so strong. Meng Zhan looked at Bai Xiaotian and the others, nodded slightly, and said, "During the day, the king's courtesy is too great. Please get up with your tribe." And he looked at the words that appeared in front of him. He still has more than 500 billion points of gods and demons left, because he has improved his magical skills and magical powers such as the gate of time and space, and has consumed a lot of god and demon points. So he looked at Bai Xiaotian and the others, and said, "You leave here first, and I will go through another tribulation." Bai Xiaotian stood up with his clan members, and was standing respectfully in front of Meng Zhan to see what Meng Zhan had. No orders. I didn't expect to hear such a sentence. Bai Xiaotian looked at Meng Zhan blankly again. How about going through another tribulation? Meng Zhan nodded and said indifferently, "My third tribulation is coming too." When Bai Xiaotian heard this, he suddenly took a few breaths of cold air. Looked at Meng Zhan with shock. We just survived the second calamity, and now the third calamity comes? Is this the divine envoy of the human race's immortal court who was born in the sea of chaos? Come on, everyone leave here with me. Don't disturb the Lord God's messenger from going through the tribulation. Bai Xiaotian quickly expelled the clan members away, then looked at Bai Linglong who was imprisoned by Emperor Dong, then turned to look at Meng Zhan, and said cautiously, Master Envoy, little girl. Meng Zhan nodded slightly towards Emperor Dong. Emperor Dong waved his hand and took back the power that imprisoned Bai Linglong. Of course, it wasn't that Bai Xiaotian couldn't save Bai Linglong from Dong Emperor Yi, but he just didn't dare to take action. After all, he was a nine tribulation lord, and Dong Emperor Yi's current strength was comparable to the peak of the original gods and demons. Bai Xiaotian waved his hand and imprisoned Bai Linglong without letting her speak. He quickly said gratefully to Meng Zhan, Thank you, Lord Divine Envoy, for your kindness. Then, Bai Xiaotian hurriedly took Bai Linglong away and returned to the place where he had just left. Go where you stand. Emperor Dong Ai and others also stayed away from the Mongolian war. Meng Zhan looked at the few lines of words in front of him, and with a thought in his mind, he upgraded his cultivation to the third level of the nine tribulations realm of gods and demons. Cultivation, 9 tribulation realm gods and demons, 3 tribulations, 550.4 billion gods and demons points rightward arrow, 4 tribulations. Boom. In an instant, the great calamity seeds in Meng Zhan's body cracked open again. The calamity clouds that had just dissipated outside gathered again. And this time, the territory covered by the calamity clouds in Meng Zhan had reached a full range of 10 trillion miles. The huge territory of the Bai family was covered in a large area. The faces of countless Bai family members, gods, and demons in the nine tribulations realm changed drastically, and they all rose into the sky. Looking at the calamity clouds in the sky, they were all stunned. How could this calamity cloud be possible? Worry covers such a large territory. I remember when the head of the family broke through the nine tribulations, Lord, the calamity clouds were not so terrifying. Oops, the world has changed. Hurry and hide, you can't control the air. The faces of the gods and demons turned pale, and they quickly fled from the sky. Not long after they escaped, the calamity clouds in the entire sky pressed down like a sacred mountain, and countless thunder dragons roared, splitting the void. There was also a trace of thunder crashing down from the sky, annihilating each sacred mountain or a temple in the sacred city, destroying everything. Scenes like this made the gods and demons who had soared into the sky break into cold sweat one by one. They were so frightened. They didn't expect this calamity cloud to be so terrifying. Meng Zhan continued to go through the third calamity. People around him were watching blankly, including Qian Yunlong and the others, as well as Bai Xiaotian and all the members of the Bai family. It was an eye-opener. This was the first time they had seen someone able to survive continuous tribulations. The terrifying aura of catastrophe swept across the world. It made Qian Yunlong and others feel horrified. They simply couldn't believe that there were people who could survive such catastrophes. After all, if they had overcome such a catastrophe by themselves, they would have been chopped into powder as early as the beginning. However, although the movement of this catastrophe was very loud, it didn't take long for such tribulation clouds to slowly dissipate. And at the center of the Great Tribulation, an extremely terrifying aura of the Lord of the Three Tribulations also filled the air. Meng Zhan walked out of it, and the 30 blue-scale warriors of the Eastern Emperor quickly followed behind Meng Zhan. When they arrived in front of Bai Xiaotian and others, Bai Xiaotian congratulations, sir, for successfully surviving the second and third calamities. Other members of the Bai family. It was only at this time that they had the opportunity to look at Meng Zhan. At this time, they were secretly frightened, because Meng Zhan didn't have much life in him. Compared to them, he was still very young. but like this the young man has already reached the cultivation level of the master of 3 tribulations. And he has just survived 2 tribulations in a row. It's so terrifying. He is truly worthy of being a noble person that the head of the family would bow down to. These family members secretly thought to themselves, and looked at Meng Zhan with more and more respect in their eyes and gestures. Meng Zhan nodded slightly, looked at Bai Xiaotian and said, "Do you still remember what I once told you? I came to Shenhuatianja just for those families." Bai Xiaotian was startled, and the words that Meng Zhan said to his incarnation before suddenly rang out. They were said when they met for the first time in the human emperor palace. The request to find the 2 families was also what he said at that time. Bai Xiaotian bowed slightly and asked cautiously, "Sir, are you going to take action against them now?" Meng Zhan said, "Of course. However, there are several families who came to your Bai family's land hundreds of millions of years ago, so I want to destroy them, so I'll tell you first." Bai Xiaotian said continuously, "My lord, just do it. If necessary, I can also help you. Need not. Family feud and blood hatred, I can do it myself." Meng Zhan turned around and took the Dong Emperor and his green-scaled soldiers to the direction of the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect first. Bai Xiaotian waved to the clan members, "Follow me, sir." When Meng Zhan and the Bai family disappeared at the far edge, Qian Yunlong and others came back to their senses, but recalling that Meng Zhan had just survived 2 tribulations in a row, and was directly promoted from the 1st tribulation master to the 3rd tribulation master, Qian Yunlong, they were shocked. "Oh my God! He just passed through the 1st tribulation a few years ago, and now he appears again. In just 2 swish, he crossed 2 great tribulations and came to the tribulation master of the 3rd tribulation. Are all major tribulations casually overcome? Some gods, demons, and monsters who have been in the realm of the Lord of Tribulation for countless years shouted, and their tone seemed to be that they could not accept this scene. The blow was really big." Qian Yunlong looked at the direction where Meng Zhan and the Bai family left. Over there it was the direction of the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect, and he recognized it. For him, the Bai family's attitude toward Meng Zhan was the thing that shocked him the most. After all, Bai Xiaotian was the master of the 9 tribulations. Even the Shenhuatianja is considered a top figure. However, Qian Yunlong thought about Meng Zhan being able to survive 3 calamities in a row in a few years, and the terrifying magical skills he had shown before, and he knew that Meng Zhan's background must not be simple. And he can also, to the point where everyone in the Bai family is willing to bow their heads for him and be driven by him. Follow along and take a look. Qian Yunlong ignored the others, and as soon as his figure moved, he quickly chased in the direction of the Heavenly Sword Divine Section. The Heavenly Sword Divine Sect. Since the death of the sect leader, the Heavenly Sword Lord, the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect has directly closed the mountain gate, refusing any visitors, and is in constant fear. Life. Because they are afraid that the person who killed their sect leader and elder Qian will appear and kill them too. Fortunately, these few years have passed. Their Heavenly Sword Divine Sect is still safe and sound. Only however, after getting through the initial period of fear, the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect has now fallen into civil strife again. Because without the Heavenly Sword Tribulation Lord, the most powerful people in the entire Heavenly Sword Divine Sect are a few people at the peak of the original gods and demons. Elders, and they all wanted to dominate the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect. Under such turmoil, the other 2 ancestors of the Taoan family in the early stages of the primitive gods and demon realm also took the opportunity to join an elder and enter the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect. This day, suddenly, the closed mountain gate formation of the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect exploded and was shattered into pieces. The bases of the large formations inside the mountain gate exploded into powder at this moment. Everyone in the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect was shocked. Just as they rushed out and looked up into the void, figures suddenly appeared above their mountain gate. The terrifying aura on each of them made everyone in the Tianjian Shen zone feel cold and stiff, and they were all stunned for a moment. Damn it! What did their heavenly sword divine sect commit? Why are there so many terrifying strong men among the crowd? The two ancestors of the Taoan family who were in the early stages of the primitive gods and demon realm were even more confused. A sense of fear could not be suppressed and surged from deep in their hearts. Damn it! Damn it! Why did something like this happen to me just after joining the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect? They are simply desperate. They joined the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect a few years ago. They originally thought that they could rely on the big tree of the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect to allow the Taoan family to grow rapidly. But who knew that they had jumped into it on their own? In a fire pit above the void, Meng Zhan took a small step and looked at everyone below. Gradually, he fell on the two ancestors of the original gods and demons of the Taoan family. From the Taoan family. I didn't expect that there are still some of you in the Heavenly Sword God section. Meng Zhan said indifferently. Before the two people from the Tianjian Shenzong and the Taoan family below could speak, Meng Zhan waved his hands to Emperor Dong and the others. Kill them all. As soon as Emperor Dong and the others rushed forward, 30 green scale warriors surrounded and killed the people of the Heavenly Sword Divine section even if they were elders at the peak of the primitive gods and demons realm. The combined efforts of several of them killed them in an instant. After guarding the abyss for 1 billion years, when he returned, his family became a criminal clan. Author, Top 47. Chapter 88. The entire Heavenly Sword Divine Sect is not very powerful, because most people who have not reached the original realm of gods and demons are not qualified to enter the mountain, except for some servants. Like the rest of the Taoan family, they can only stay in a sacred city outside the mountain. Therefore, there are not hundreds of people in the Tianjian Shen sect. As soon as Emperor Dong and the others were killed, the expressions of those elders at the peak of the primitive realm of gods and demons changed greatly, and they even shouted, "Senior, what grudge does our Heavenly Sword Divine Sect have against you? Do you want you to send someone to the throne? I won't stop until people slaughter my Heavenly Sword Divine Sect." Snort. Emperor Dong snorted coldly, but it was like thunder, resounding in the ears of everyone in the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect. Emperor Dong said indifferently, "If you want to blame it, then blame your Heavenly Sword Divine Sect for recruiting a few good disciples. He should be killed if he has anything to do with someone from the Taoan family." What? Taoan family? The elders at the peak of the primitive realm of gods and demons screamed angrily, and suddenly glared at the two Taoan family members. The faces of the two Taoan family members changed drastically, and they were about to turn around and flee. "You two damn guys! Come to death!" One person took action in an instant, seriously injuring the two ancestors of the Taoan family, and placed them in front of Emperor Dong and the others. He begged, "Seniors, I will leave these two to your disposal. Our Heavenly Sword Divine Sect has little relationship with their clan. Can you let me, the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect, go for once?" Poof. Xianyuan Moxio took action. The green sword in his hand was unsheathed at some point. A ray of sharp light passed through the sky and cut off the heads of the two ancestors of the Taoan family. The original divine power annihilated the souls of the two people together. Instant kill. And Emperor Dong and the others had surrounded the entire Heavenly Sword Divine Sect at this moment. "Late," Emperor Dong said coldly, and immediately took action, waving his hand, and a golden crow beast of divine fire appeared in the sky and earth. With a cry, it burned several sacred mountains of the Heavenly Sword section. All the people on it, except for an elder at the peak of the primitive realm of gods and demons, vomited blood and flew away. Outside, everyone else was burned. Boom. Taste Grandpa's hammer. Xiongzantian's two divine hammers were in the sky, as if two sacred mountains descended from the sky, and they suddenly hammered an elder at the peak of the primitive gods and demons realm into the ground. Boom, there was a loud noise. Under the hammer, the earth was shattered and destroyed, and everything in the surrounding area was destroyed. Even people in the late stage of the primitive god and demon realm were smashed by this force, and their bodies were shattered and killed with one hammer. Ah! Why? Why are you so cruel? Ah! Taoan family, you harmed the heavenly sword divine sect. A shrill scream resounded throughout the world, but the sound only resounded in the heavenly sword divine sect's sect. Once out of the heavenly sword divine sect, it became silent. 30 blue-scaled warriors took action. Not long after, the entire heavenly sword divine sect had been slaughtered, and the elders who were at the peak of the original realm of gods and demons were also killed by Emperor Dongyi and them. Above the void, Meng Zhan looked on expressionlessly, with Bai Xiaotian and others behind him. The people of the Bai family followed respectfully. They watched the Tianjian Shen zone being destroyed, and their expressions did not change at all. Although there was no turmoil in the Xinwu heavenly realm, and under normal circumstances, there would not be large-scale annihilation of tribes and forces, but it was rare, and not it doesn't mean there isn't one. On the contrary, it's normal. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. A moment later, after Emperor Dong Ai and the others searched for the heavenly sword divine sect, they returned one by one and came to Meng Zhan. They bowed respectfully and said, "Soldier, you are fortunate to have lived up to your command." The words "soldier master" made Bai Xiaoshan's eyes move slightly. After taking a closer look at Dong Emperor Yi and the others, Bai Xiaotian suddenly felt enlightened and thought to himself, no wonder these people are all at the peak of the primitive gods and demons. It turns out that they are all warriors, soldier. Thinking of this, Bai Xiaotian looked at Meng Zhan with a little envy. The Xinwu heaven realm also has an altar for ordinary soldiers. But that thing can only be used by the Xinwu immortal army, and it cannot be used on a large scale. Those small soldiers in the Xinwu immortal army, if you want to get this opportunity, you have to make a lot of contributions in exchange. The strength of the soldiers is mostly around the middle stage of the original god and demon realm. Higher level soldiers are rarer. And most of these soldiers are used as it is used to guard the world. It is an important weapon to guard the world. Walk. Let's go to the Taoan family first. Meng Zhan turned around and left, followed closely by Emperor Dong and others. Bai Xiaotian and other members of the Bai family followed Meng Zhan away without even looking at the destroyed Tianjian Shen zone. Not long after, whoosh whoosh. Qian Yunlong. When the others arrived at the heavenly sword sect, their expressions changed slightly when they saw that the heavenly sword divine sect was already in a mess. He really destroyed the heavenly sword divine section. Although they had expected it in their hearts, Qian Yunlong and the others still felt a little chill in their hearts when they saw the heavenly sword divine sect being destroyed. That person should have done more than this, right? Thinking of this, Qian Yunlong and the others felt a little sad, even more so. I smiled bitterly. I missed it. When I first met Meng Zhan, I should have had a conversation, and they shouldn't have left like that after making an appointment. Otherwise, they would know where Meng Zhan came from and why they came here. I don't know if there is another chance. Whoosh whoosh. Qian Yunlong and the others gritted their teeth and went after Meng Zhan and the others again. It is about 1 billion miles away from the heavenly sword divine sect. In a divine city, the Taoan family came to the Xinwu heavenly realm. It was not easy for them to enter this divine city and settle down. However, hundreds of millions of years later, they barely managed to gain a firm foothold. In this divine city, I have my own connections, and I am familiar with the people, things, and many forces around me. At the moment when something happened to the Tianjian Shen zone, in the main hall where the Taoan family placed the soul cards, the 2 soul cards at the top clicked and shattered at this moment. An elder of the Taoan family who was guarding the soul card changed his face slightly when he noticed the movement. And when he turned his head and saw that 2 of the 3 soul cards at the top of his Taoan family were shattered, the man's head buzzed and he was stunned. Not good. 2 elders, the ancestor's soul card is broken. He jumped up in an instant, rolled up the 2 broken soul cards in his hands, and rushed out of the hall. His voice was trembling and crying, and he shouted loudly. Something bad is happening. Something bad is happening. Ancestor, something happened to them. In a moment, the entire Towan family's powerful people gathered in the landlord's hall of their clan. When the clan elder guarding the soul card hall took out the 2 broken soul cards, everyone felt as if their heart was broken. It thumped momentarily and their faces turned pale. Are the soul cards of the 2 ancestors who went to the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect broken? How so? Didn't the Heavenly Sword Divine Sect seal the mountain gate? Who else can kill the ancestors? How could he kill the ancestors and the others? No, 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 this is not true. Ancestor and the others will definitely be fine. Some elders stood up immediately, their eyes were red, and they refuted loudly and excitedly. The head of the Towan family, Tao Anlong, had cold sweat on his palms at this moment, and his expression was changing. He was already sure that something must have happened to their Towan family. Boom! Tao Anlong's divine body suddenly shook, and he thought of something. Not long ago, the little heavenly King Bai family searched for the whereabouts of the Qinjiao family and the Zhou Wang family. At that time, they knew about this matter, and there were still people in the Towan family. The joke is that those 2 families were afraid that they had offended the Bai family at some point and ended up in this situation. Tao Anlong also quietly sent people to try to find the 2 families. After all, he also wanted to embrace the Bai family. A hug on the thigh. Even though he betrayed the Qinjiao family and the Zhou Wang family. But now that Tao Anlong thought about it, his face suddenly became pale and bloodless, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. He looked at the clan members who were still noisy. The middle elder immediately shouted, "Shut up! Everyone listens to me now. Everyone is bringing some of their clansmen with them. Leave the divine city now and find a way to escape." Wrong. Tao Anlong suddenly thought of something again, as if grasping a life-saving straw, his eyes lit up. He shouted, "Everyone, go and bring all the clan members with you now. Let's leave the divine martial heaven realm now and go back to the divine demon realm. There is no time." Not long ago, the Qinjiao family and the Zhou Wang family were intensively searched by the Bai family. Now our 2 ancestors of the Towan family are in trouble again. Something must have happened. We must leave here and go back to the world of gods and demons to escape. Hearing Tao Anlong's roar, the pupils of the elders' eyes suddenly shrank, their faces instantly turned pale, and their eyes were frightened. Something happened to the ancestor, and it was related to the Bai family. Tao Anlong saw them in a daze, and then he yelled anxiously, "Why don't you go quickly? Oh. Let's go now." A group of clan elders didn't even have time to wipe the cold sweat from their faces. They calmed down and rushed out of the hall to gather them. A member of the An family. Tao Anlong waited until they all left, then he fell down on the chair, his eyes were blank, and he murmured, "Hope is not too late." However, these words had just fallen. Boom! Their entire divine city shook violently, and a terrifying divine power that made everyone's expressions change drastically was suppressed from the sky at this moment. Wow! Some temples even collapsed under such divine power. Poof! One after another, the weak gods and demons felt severe pain in their heads at this moment, and blood spurted out in mouthfuls. They were directly suppressed to the ground by this divine power. Their faces were full of fear, and they encountered such an accident in vain. They were completely shocked. Confused. Holy shit! What happened? They looked up. They saw one figure after another with terrifying auras descending over the city, especially the leader. At this moment, the divine power of great calamity and the undisguised aura of terrifying blood were like a monstrous line in the sky. A river of blood descends, and murderous intentions are revealed. What a terrifying murderous aura! The faces of countless people changed drastically, and their hearts were filled with endless fear. Under such murderous intent, goosebumps appeared on their bodies, and they were stunned. How many people had to be killed to condense the evil spirit? Mengzhan them. Arriving at the sky above this sacred city, under the suppression of the terrifying divine power, no one rushed out to cause trouble. Therefore, Mengzhan and Emperor Dong Ai's eyes naturally fell on the position of the Taoan family in the city. There. The familiar blood aura is gathering rapidly, and countless people in the Taoan family are panicking. Want to escape? When Mengzhan saw this, he slightly raised his head and looked at the sky. His expression became extremely complicated at this moment. There was sadness, anger, and a hint of relief that the great revenge was due. The murderous intention accumulated in his heart for countless years was in his heart. At this moment, it completely poured out. With a loud bang, the world changed drastically, and the terrifying aura on his body exploded. Taoan family. It's your turn to repay the blood debt you incurred back then. Mengzhan stared down and shouted angrily indifferently. His divine body was trembling slightly at this moment. The reason why the Meng family ended up like this. It was all because of these ancient clans in front of them. After guarding the abyss for a billion years, when he returned, his family became a criminal clan. Author, Top 47. Chapter 89. This evil spirit. Bai Xiaoshan's face changed slightly, and he looked at Mengzhan's figure in front of him. At this moment, Mengzhan's monstrous blood-like breath poured out, instantly breaking through the clouds in the sky, and the endless heaven and earth instantly turned into blood. Covering hundreds of millions of miles of sky, pressing over this divine city. What shocked Bai Xiaotian was that the blood-evil aura on Mengzhan's body was really terrifying. It was more terrifying than the powerful men he had seen in the divine martial immortal army who had fought against demons from outside the territory. How many lives have been killed? He is truly worthy of being a divine envoy from the immortal court of the human race. His evil aura and terrifying talent for continuously breaking through realms cannot be matched by those from the divine martial heaven realm. Bai Xiaotian was amazed in his heart. However, whoosh whoosh. In the distance, Qian Yunlong and other 9 tribulation realm gods and demons came here. When they saw the terrifying blood-evil aura and murderous intent on Mengzhan, their faces changed. One of them turned pale and completely panicked. He rushed forward quickly. Wait. Brother Meng, no, Master Meng, please show mercy. This man is the city lord of this divine city. Seeing Mengzhan like this, he thought that Mengzhan was going to attack the entire divine city and massacre it. He couldn't stay still. But just as he rushed forward, he was facing looking into Mengzhan's cold eyes. For a moment, his head was banged, as if he was falling into an endless sea of blood, and unbearable screams appeared one after another, causing severe pain in his head. Ah! Poof! A scream came out. This man was a dignified lord of tribulation. Just looking at Mengzhan, he spat out a mouthful of blood, staggered, and almost fell from the sky. Below. The person from the Taoan family, with a little buffer time, they looked up one by one and saw the terrifying figures above the sacred city. They also noticed that Mengzhan, who exuded a terrifying aura, was looking at them with his cold and murderous eyes. And family. Tao Anlong's head suddenly buzzed. His heart thumped and he sank to the bottom. Run away. Everyone, run away. Without yelling, Tao Anlong looked directly at Mengzhan in the sky, and at the same time shouted to everyone in the Taoan family through voice transmission. The voice was full of determination. When the rest of the Taoan family heard Tao Anlong's voice transmission, then the body trembled violently. The next moment, everyone ignored everything and fled outside the Taoan family. Whoosh! Whoosh! They ran away like crazy, using their magical powers. They left one by one as fast as possible, even escaping out of the God City. In the sky, Mengzhan and Dong Emperor Yi quietly watched the movements of the Taoan family. Dong Emperor Yi, who was beside Mengjian, asked in a low voice, "Human Emperor, do you want us to take action?" Mengjian shook his head slightly and said softly, "I'll do it." Boom! This sound fell. Among the Taoan family below, looking directly at Tao Anlong from Mengjian, the divine body suddenly exploded and turned into a ball of blood mist, which was extremely dazzling. This is the first one. When Tao, in the moment an elder of the family, fled outside the divine city, his divine body and divine realm seemed to have been crushed by something. Ah! A divine soul still exists in the air. But now the divine soul is letting out a lung-breaking scream. And at the next moment, in his collapsed divine realm, there are also divine souls appearing one by one, and they are protected from death. Countless divine souls are intact. They appeared intact. But after they appeared, the encounter was worse than death. Under the control of Mengjian, wisps of the Great Tribulation power were integrated into their souls. The souls that protected them tore them apart again and again. The spirit of the God. Don't let them die. But, life is worse than death. Such screams resounded throughout the entire divine city. Other people in the Taoan family also heard it, which made them even more frightened and scared in their hearts. They ran away. The speed became a little faster, and they all fled outside the city. But like the elders, they were not happy the moment they stepped out of the divine city. The divine body had been crushed by a force. Bang bang bang. Groups of blood mist dispersed over the divine city. Mengjian watched expressionlessly. His divine power had already enveloped the entire divine city, and no one in the Taoan family could escape. It only took a moment. A faint blood mist has filled the huge divine city below. The shrill screams of the souls of the Taoan family made everyone in the city feel numb, and looked at the Mongolian sky above in horror. Zhan and others did not even dare to move. They were afraid that Mengjian would accidentally kill them too. Even the faces of the Bai family members who followed Mengjian behind were slightly changing at this moment. Because Zhan's move was really vicious. If he directly killed countless people in the Taoan family, then they wouldn't think anything of it. It was just a small family anyway. But Mengjian killed everyone in the Taoan family, but he didn't let them die. Instead, let them live worse than death. This is terrible. Hiss, what on earth did this little guy do to provoke this adult to be so cruel? A member of the Bai family swallowed secretly, his back felt slightly cold and was soaked with cold sweat. If there was no deep hatred, I'm afraid they wouldn't do this. There are also the two families that the head of the family asked to investigate before. It seems that, some members of the Bai family moved their eyes slightly, remembering something. The blood evil aura on this adult's body was not simple before, but looking at it now, it is true that this adult's experience is absolutely extraordinary. There are also members of the Bai family who secretly thought in their hearts. However, they did not say anything to stop Mengjian. Although Mengjian's methods were indeed unexpectedly cruel, they were not able to intervene in this matter. The Taoan family members in the divine city did not. After a long time, their bodies were destroyed one by Mengjian. Then their souls were imprisoned and collected one by one, and handed over to Emperor Dong for disposal. Mengjian turned to look at Bai Xiaotian and said, "There should be some left in this Taoan family. People are outside. To be specific, please ask the White King for help to catch them or get rid of them directly." When Bai Xiaotian heard this, he quickly said, "No problem. As the Lord God Envoy ordered, my Bai family will definitely go all out to complete it." Mengjian nodded and said, "Okay. Then go to the next divine city." When Mengjian led the people away, Bai Xiaotian quietly conveyed Mengjian's instructions to the people of the Bai family who were responsible for handling them, and quickly led everyone in the Bai family to follow. In the sacred city below, everyone fell into silence. Among them, they looked at the bloody aura remaining in the divine city. In a daze, it seemed that the screams of the Taoan family were still echoing in their ears. Until all the Taoan family members were killed, Meng Zhan and others, they all left, and they didn't know what the hell happened. It's more than 3 billion miles away from here. A mountain is hundreds of thousands of feet below. A pair of dark eyes, and the terrifying aura of Meng Zhan burst out. When he came, he opened his eyes, raised his head slightly, and saw what happened to the Taoan family. However, the eyes of these pupils mainly fell on Meng Zhan. The breath of demons. This man has the aura of countless people of my demon clan. The voice with cold murderous intent echoed in this hidden world, he murmured, looking at Meng Zhan's figure, his eyes were full of indifference. It was like looking at an ant. When my demon clan comes, that's the day you die. Seeing Meng Zhan and the others walking away, the demon closed his eyes again, and his aura was reduced to the extreme. And beside him, there were countless demons and monsters sleeping prostrate. Bai family. He Lianyu, the captain of the Xinwu immortal army who came to the Bai family, finally did not dare to fight against the ancestor of the 8 tribulations lord of the Bai family and took back his breath. He snorted coldly and sat down in the hall to wait. However, the Bai family's attitude clearly had a rift with him. If given the chance, he would definitely not make it easy for the Bai family. However, not long after waiting, He Lianyu's face suddenly changed slightly, and he stood up in shock, looking towards the direction where Meng Zhan had broken through before. The terrifying aura of the catastrophe for 2 consecutive catastrophes shocked He Lianyu's heart. This breath. How can it be? A person is going through a tribulation, and also going through 2 tribulations in a short period of time. Who is this person? Shocked. He Lianyu thought for a while and then sent this news back to the Xinwu immortal army. On the one hand, he wanted to find out who the person was who had survived 2 calamities in a row. Secondly, he wanted to find out who such a person was. Maybe the Xinwu immortal army will recruit them. If the 2 terrifying auras of catastrophe only made He Lianyu inexplicably frightened. Then, the bloody evil aura that seemed like a substance swept through the world for hundreds of millions of miles, making He Lianyu the captains of the divine martial immortal army were so shocked that they bit their tongues. His eyes widened, and endless divine light emerged from those pupils at this moment. Seeing through the world. The endless space was broken, and in his pupils, he could see on top of the divine city, the figure of Meng Zhan suppress the divine city with murderous intent. This person. The pupils in He Lianyu's eyes suddenly shrank. There was something very wrong with this bloody aura. Because he was so familiar with this blood evil aura. Only by killing countless demons from outside the territory could he condense such a terrifying blood evil aura. He could definitely feel the scent of the demons in this aura. But, he doesn't know this person. He is not a member of the Xinwu immortal army, so how did he get the blood evil aura on his body? People from other worlds. Before He Lianyu could think about it carefully, an order came down, ordering him to go and investigate the source of this bloody aura, and also to find out who the person who survived 2 calamities in a row was, and try to recruit as many people as possible. Among their Xinwu immortal army. Solicit. He Lianyu looked at Meng Zhan's figure and knew that the target of these 2 orders was this person. Boom. He Lianyu's body once again erupted with a terrifying aura. He led a few people around him out of the hall, looked at the ancestor of the 8 tribulations master of the Bai family who was trying to stop him, snorted coldly, and said indifferently, the divine martial immortal army has order, investigate the owners of the 2 previous catastrophic auras, and the source of the blood evil aura just now. Do you, the Bai family, plan to stop the Xinwu immortal army? The ancestor of the 8 tribulations lord of the Bai family heard this, thought for a moment, and backed away without saying a word. It is no problem to stop a captain of the Xinwu immortal army. But if the Xinwu immortal army has a mission and the Bai family blocks it, then this will be the source of the destruction of their Bai family. Snort. He Lianyu snorted again, but instead of getting entangled with the Bai family, he quickly took the people around him and used his magical powers to go to the area where Meng Zhan was. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After guarding the abyss for a billion years, when he returned, his family became a criminal clan. Author, Top 47. Chapter 90. Just when He Lianyu left the Bai family and led people to pursue Meng Zhan's terrifying bloody aura, Meng Zhan and others had already arrived at the next divine city. This time, the moment Meng Zhan and the others arrived at this building, a Lord of Tribulation came out. With a respectful look on his face, he bowed to Meng Zhan, Bai Xiaotian, and the others. Meet Mr. Meng. Meet the King of Day. I wonder which force Master Meng came to our Sea God City for? Sir, just tell me, I will immediately have them caught and handed over to the adults. The Lord of Sea God City obviously already knew about Meng Zhan and the others, so he walked out at this moment. Even if it was just a familiar face, it was much better than the previous Lord of God City who vomited blood. Meng Zhan glanced at him. This the Lord of Geihai Divine City is already an aging old man, with white hair and wrinkles on his face. Although he is a Lord of one tribulation, he can only be in charge of such a divine city. And such a divine city, not to mention other places. There are countless people in the Bai family. Need not. Step aside. Meng Zhan glanced at him with cold eyes and said indifferently. The face of the city lord of Geihai Divine City suddenly turned pale. Under Meng Zhan's gaze, his whole person seemed to be seen through, even his inner thoughts. Unable to keep it? This made the city lord of Geihai Divine City extremely horrified. He had never felt like this before in front of a Six Tribulations lord. This existence that even the head of the Bai family, Bai Xiaotian, the White King, treated with respect, was truly extraordinary. Yes, yes. Your Excellency, please. The Lord of Gehaishan City didn't say anything. After smiling, he stepped aside. Boom. The next moment, the terrifying bloody power of Meng Zhan suppressed the Geihai Divine City below, like a river of blood descending from the sky, while the Geihai Divine City below was just an insignificant grain of sand, in this stream. Under the suppression of the divine power, the temples collapsed one after another, and terrifying cracks spread across the entire divine city, making the divine city shake. In the city, people from every family or power opened their eyes wide. They looked at the divine city in great horror. Over the sky. Who is this? Ah, the city is torn. Okay, what a terrifying divine power. There were gods and demons whose heads were in severe pain due to the pressure of Meng Zhan's breath. A mouthful of blood spurted out, and they collapsed on the ground. Their faces looked up at the sky with horror, and their bodies trembled. It was terrible. Faced with such an existence, they simply couldn't. There was no resistance at all. Above. After Meng Zhan Jinwei suppressed the entire divine city, his eyes fell on a huge mansion. The divine cities in the divine martial heaven realm were all extremely huge, and each of the mansions contained their own. The secret world is enough to accommodate a large number of ethnic groups. The mansion where Meng Zhan's eyes fell is larger than that of the Taoan family before. It has some background. This is where the Huaiyan family is now. And not in the distance. The local family they were married to is now also under the control of the Huaiyan family. Huaiyan Libra has been a little high-spirited recently, because when he was investigating the Qinjiao family and the Zhou Wang family, he accidentally made a few friends. He is a prodigy who comes from other cities, but has the master of the four tribulations behind him. Although he only relies on his generosity to make friends with these prodigies, which costs a lot of money. But if he can maintain it, it will have huge influence on the Huaiyan family and other two families. Benefit. After a while, that force will select disciples again. At that time, we should be able to make some operations and send one or two family disciples in. Huaiyan Liber thought. But before he had a sweet dream for a long time, a piece of news came. For Huadian Libra, it was no less than the sky fell. The Taoan family was wiped out. A strong man came to seek revenge and killed all the Taoan family. Huadian Libra's eyes widened and he jumped up suddenly. His head was buzzing. He couldn't accept such a result for a moment. Who? Huadian. Libra gritted his teeth and asked with a trembling voice. And the tribesman who sent him the message continued, I don't know who it is, but when that person attacked the Taoan family before, he once said that before the blood debt must be repaid. By the way, that person's surname seems to be Meng. Huadian. Libra frowned. He still didn't think that the Taoan family had any enemies, let alone what happened in the world of gods and demons. Hundreds of millions of years have passed, and he has regarded himself as a person from the world of gods and martial arts. As for the past, what happened in the world of gods and demons? He really didn't worry about it. He was confused for a moment. Huadian Libra stabilized again, sat on the chair, and thought to himself, I don't know, will there be any involvement in this matter? Probably not. In the Shinwu heaven realm, although our Huadian family has contact with them, their respective developments have not intersected. Boom. As soon as the thought of Huadian Libra appeared, the temple he was in was crushed and collapsed by a terrifying divine power. Poof. Huadian Libra's whole body was also suppressed and fell into the bottom. The original divine body cracked with countless blood marks, and blood spattered. In an instant, he looked like a bloody man. At this moment, Huadian Libra was still a little confused, and his head was a little blank. What happened? And in the next moment, a catastrophic divine power imprisoned his divine body. His eyes widened, and he was absorbed by this power from the pit, directly to the void of the divine city. And appeared together with Huadian Libra people, as well as other members of the Huadian family, as well as his wife Xiao Sueru and other members of the Xiao family. They occupied the entire sky above the divine city, densely packed. Meng Zhan looked at them, and his eyes fell on the one with the strongest cultivation aura among the Huadian family. Huadian Libra said indifferently, your Huadian family is luckier than the Taoan family. From the world of gods and demons to the world of gods and martial arts, you can also be romantic and happy. But my Meng family members have been slaughtered by you for hundreds of millions of years. The name of the so-called sinful clan has been carried for hundreds of millions of years. As soon as Meng Zhan said this, the eyes of Huadian Libra and other members of the Huadian family were all wide and round, looking at Meng Zhan in shock, a little confused, and even more unbelievable. Huadian Libra looked at Meng Zhan, exclaimed, You come from the world of gods and demons. Menjia. Swish. Huadian Libra's face turned snow white, sweating profusely, and he looked panicked and frightened. He remembered. In the past, when several of their ancient clans tried to snatch the boundary stone from the Eastern royal family, there was an immortal family named the Meng family, and their strength was not weak. Whether it was the Dong royal family or the Meng family, they all killed a lot of people. In the end, in order to avoid future troubles, they even ordered that all these families become criminal clans and let the entire human race at that time hunt them down. No, haven't they already been destroyed? Didn't the remaining people also give orders to hunt them down? Why would there be such a terrifying person from the Meng family? Huadian Libra yelled with a broken heart. Other members of the Huadian family also collapsed. Some had fear in their eyes, looking at Meng Zhan full of pleading. Others were full of hatred and anger, regretting their mistakes. If they had been more ruthless and eliminated the hidden dangers, then there wouldn't be today. It's just that they were imprisoned by Meng Zhan, but they didn't have the treatment of Huadian Libra. As for Xiao Sueru and other members of the Xiao family, at this moment, I haven't recovered from the unexpected incident. That terrifying divine power came in vain, causing many of them to vomit blood and suffer serious injuries. Before they could react, All the people from the Xiao family, along with the people from the Huadian family, were caught in the sky above the divine city. What the hum? It turned out to be the fault of the Huadian family. Xiao Sueru's eyes widened, and she looked at Huadian Libra with some worry, but the other Xiao family members were already looking at the couple with resentment. It's all them. If it weren't for these two people, why would the Xiao family be like this? Everything must be repaid. Meng Zhan looked at the people of the two tribes, and the entire Geihai divine city fell into deathly silence at this moment. Even the gods and demons in the nine tribulation realm did not dare to take a breath. Boom! With a thought, the divine bodies of Huadian Libra and others exploded. It was as if there was an invisible big hand grabbing their divine bodies. With a pinch, the bodies of these ants were crushed to pieces. Endless blood mist drifted away. Above the Geihai divine city, this scene made everyone's eyelids twitch hard, and seemed to pinch their hearts. Kill them. And this time, it was two families. Ah! The divine body exploded. The souls of Huadian Libra and others were still preserved, and the terrifying power of the catastrophe was integrated into it one by one, protecting them and allowing them to bear the wrath of Meng Zhan. Call. Meng Zhan waved their souls and put them away, suppressing them in the divine realm. Death, for them, is a luxury idea. They solved two families in the divine city. Meng Zhan looked at Bai Xiaotian and said, the remaining members of the Huadian family and the Xiao family will also be handed over to your Bai family, and no one can be let go. As he said that, Meng Zhan's body suddenly shook, and then he thought of something. That is, before the ancient clan, the Eastern royal family had opened the boundary stone and brought people here. There seemed to be people from the Meng family and other families among them. So, where are they now? He looked at Bai Xiaotian and said with a bit of urgency in his tone also, before these families, my family and some other families once had people set foot in the Xinwu heavenly realm to help me. Check to see if any of them are still alive. Yes, you should spread the word about the current situation in the world of gods and demons, as well as the news about my battle. Now in the world of gods and demons, I, Meng Zhan, have the final say. Bai Xiaotian was startled when he heard Meng Zhan's hurried tone. But when he heard Meng Zhan mention that he was from his own family, he felt relieved. However, just as Bai Xiaotian bowed his head respectfully and accepted the order, he raised his eyebrows. Then he frowned and looked in one direction. Meng Zhan also noticed some movement, and along with Bai Xiaotian, looked over there. Boom! There! A crack was torn open in the void, forming a passage. Swish! Swish! He Lianyu of the Xinwu Immortal Army, leading a small group of people, walked out step by step, wearing the unique divine armor of the Xinwu Immortal Army. Kai, holding the unique magic weapon of the Xinwu Immortal Army, and the killing aura swept across the sky the moment it appeared. Everyone in the four directions was shocked. When they looked up and saw them appearing, the expressions on their faces, they were all extremely shocked and shocked. This. The Xinwu Immortal Army appears. The Xinwu Immortal Army. This is an absolutely transcendent existence in the Xinwu heavenly realm. It is superior to other forces in the Xinwu heavenly realm. After all, the Xinwu Immortal Army is backed by the human race Immortal Court. Naturally, the Xinwu Immortal Army is behind everything. People in the Xinwu heaven realm all have the inviolable symbol, status, and image of divine power in their hearts. But at this moment, when they saw the appearance of the Xinwu Immortal Army, they were instantly shocked and biting their tongues. After guarding the abyss for 1 billion years, when he returned, his family became a criminal clan. Author, Top 47. Chapter 91. Seeing He Lianyu and others appearing in front of Meng Zhan, Bai Xiaotian's face suddenly became strange. He originally wanted to take Meng Zhan to the Bai family, and then turn the two into the Yu family and Zhou Wang family. The people were handed over to Meng Zhan. But I didn't expect it. but He Lianyu brought them here himself. So impatient. When He Lianyu led the people out and looked at Mengzhan, Bai Xiaotian whispered to Mengzhan, Master Divine Envoy. The two soldiers of the Xinwu Immortal Army next to this man, one is from the Qinjiao family and the other is from the Zhou Wang family. He took people to the Bai family before, intending to see why the Bai family wanted to search for the whereabouts of the Qinjiao family and the Zhou Wang family. Originally, I planned to take the Divine Envoy to the Bai family and then hand them over to the Divine Envoy. Unexpectedly, they came here by themselves. When Mengzhan heard this, his originally calm and indifferent eyes suddenly became cold, and even the airspace around him seemed to be frozen at this moment. A wisp of murderous intent emerged from Mengzhan's eyes. Unabashedly, he looked at two of the people brought by He Lianyu. At this moment, after the two people following He Lianyu arrived here, they could detect the permeating atmosphere above Geihai Divine City. The smell of blood. This is nothing at first. But the smell of blood is the blood of the Huaiyan family that the two of them are familiar with. The Huaiyan family was wiped out. The expressions of the two of them changed, and they looked at Mengzhan and Dong Huiyi, Xianyu and Moxiu and others behind Mengzhan. The blood aura made the two of them suddenly scream. People from the Eastern royal family. There is also the Xianyuan family and the Yingtian family. Then he looked at Bai Xiaotian, who was standing behind Mengzhan, respectfully waiting for the Bai family. This moment. No need for Bai Xiaotian to say anything, the two of them could understand in an instant. Why is there suddenly such a big movement in the Bai family to search for the whereabouts of their two families? It turns out that they are not the ones who offended the Bai family. Instead, people from the former world of gods and demons have come to seek revenge. Various thoughts flashed through their minds instantly, and murderous intent flashed in their eyes, and they quickly reported to He Lianyu captain. These people come from a small world. The reason why the Bai family searched for our two families before was probably because of these people. Captain, these people can't stay. Otherwise, I am afraid that General Long will be alerted, because they are the mortal enemies of our two families. Once they are released, they will definitely seek revenge on our two families. When He Lianyu walked towards Mengzhan, he was thinking about how to get acquainted with Mengzhan and how to win Mengzhan into the Xinwu Immortal Army. But when he heard about the dispute between the Qinjiao family and the Zhou Wang family, when the voice was transmitted, the body suddenly shook. General Long. He Lianyu nodded lightly. The person who gave him the order before was their General Yajiang, who commanded their army. But General Long. That was the deputy general and deputy commander of the Xinwu Immortal Army. Between the two, He Lianyu didn't even think about which one to choose. Boom, boom, boom. He Lianyu clenched the war spear in his hand, and the terrifying divine power on his body became more and more intense. He stepped on the void, causing the entire sky to shake. Such a shock, the sound is more like thunder after sound, roaring in the hearts of all gods and demons. Poof! In an instant, some gods and demons could not bear such a shock, their hearts burst a little, and they fell to the ground with blood spurting from their mouths. The expressions of Bai Xiaotian and others changed slightly, because the aura on He Lianyu's body changed. If it was just before strong, divine power soaring into the sky. So now, He Lianyu's aura was like thousands of troops gathered together, with monstrous murderous intent condensed, and suddenly suppressed them. He Lianyu walked over and looked directly at Mengzhan and the others. Shouted coldly, the Xinwu Immortal Army is arresting the demon rebels, and everyone else is retreating. Give you 3 time to breathe. If you don't retreat, kill. Buzz. The sound of drinking was loud, ringing in the ears of all the gods and demons, deafening. He Lianyu pointed the war spear in his hand, and directed the terrible evil intention at Bai Xiaotian and others. And his eyes became cold. Ruthless. Even if Bai Xiaotian is a 9 tribulations lord, He Lianyu is fearless at this moment. So what about the Nine Tribulations Lord? Does he dare to attack the Shinwu Immortal Army? Wow! But He Lianyu's shout, the expressions of Qian Yunlong and others changed greatly, and the eyes they looked at Meng Zhan, Bai Xiaotian and others became completely different. Demon Clan traitor? This Meng Zhan is a person who surrendered to the Demon Clan from outside the territory. Bai Xiaotian and the Bai family also controlled by the demons. Otherwise, why would the Bai family help Meng Zhan? Go quickly! Qian Yunlong and others shouted loudly, and instantly moved away from Meng Zhan, Bai Xiaotian and other members of the Bai family. They did not doubt the words of the Shinwu Immortal Army at all, and their previous thoughts of making friends with Meng Zhan were all gone at this moment. Who would have thought that this person would be a traitor sent by the Demon Clan? He Lianyu stared at Bai Xiaotian, smiled coldly, and said, King Bai Xiaotian, if you take action now, kill those in front of you. If the demons are captured, then your Bai family still has a chance to survive. Otherwise, you should know what the consequences will be. Once the Shinwu Immortal Army takes action, they will never give you another chance. Ha! Bai Xiaotian was dumbfounded after hearing this. He looked at He Lianyu blankly for a moment before he smiled. Demon traitor? He didn't even expect that He Lianyu would come like this. He shook his head, looking at Meng Zhan. He bowed slightly and asked respectfully, Sir, do you want me to take action to deal with them? Need not. Meng Zhan shook his head, and when he turned his hand, the Hongtian halberd appeared in his hand. He looked at He Lianyu with his cold eyes. He said, let me test his strength. Bai Xiaoshan's face changed slightly, and just when he was about to open his mouth to persuade, Meng Zhan's figure had gradually faded away. I don't know when, Meng Zhan had already taken action. But he didn't notice it. Boom! The pupils in Bai Xiaoshan's eyes shrank slightly, and he suddenly looked forward. He saw He Lianyu, who had just walked over, and was struck by a halberd in vain. The divine armor made a loud clanking sound, and sparks, the sound of gold and iron clashing in all directions, shattered the eardrums of some people in Poseidon City below, and blood flowed out from all the 7 orifices. He Lianyu was sent flying horizontally by the halberd, with severe pain in his chest and a mouthful of blood spurting out. There was a loud bang. It hit the ground below, and the ground instantly cracked countless pieces. Boom! Meng Zhan appeared from where He Lianyu had just stood. The power of time and space rippled slightly. He attacked He Lianyu, but He Lianyu didn't even react. This is the terror of the power of time and space. And the Lord of 3 tribulations can fight He Lianyu, the Lord of 6 tribulations, vomited blood, which shocked Bai Xiaotian and others. 9 tribulations, gods and demons. Each tribulation is a level. The Lord of 2 tribulations tortured the Lord of 1st tribulation, then it's just like playing. The gap between the 6 tribulations Lord and the 3 tribulations Lord is already huge. Think about it, Bai Xiaotian, the 9 tribulations Lord, is the top combat power in the divine martial world, and the 1 tribulation Lord, the tribulation Lord and others are just the city lords of a small divine city. This shows how big the gap is between the gods and demons of the 9 tribulations. The tribulation lord of the 3 tribulations beat the tribulation lord of the 6th tribulation and vomited blood? Are you kidding me? Meng Zhan defeated he with a halberd. Lianyu slashed down and did not pursue him. Instead, his eyes fell on those people brought by He Lianyu, especially the 2 people from the Chengyu family and Zhou Wang family. The cold murderous intent in his eyes surged like a waterfall. Out! Chenjiao family. King Zhou family. Are you ready to repay your past grudges? Boom! The power of space and time around Meng Zhan violently rioted. In the blink of an eye, Bai Xiaotian and others struck a halberd from his hand and killed several people brought by He Lianyu. The Chengyu family and Zhou Wang family were left alone. The souls of those 2 people. Buzz. 2 strands of great calamity power merged into their souls. Ah! The two souls immediately let out shrill screams and rolled in the void, wanting to die. Mengjian waved his hand and suppressed their two souls in the divine realm. Ah! You dare to kill people from the Xinwu immortal army. You are dead. Boom. He Lianyu rushed out from the ground, furious, his eyes were wide and round, and his whole body was full of terrifying murderous aura. The power of the Lord of Six Tribulations exploded, shattering the entire land, and even the pavilion not far away. The Poseidon city was shattered by his body. Fortunately, Bai Xiaoshan's figure moved at this time, and his divine power radiated out. Only then could he protect the people of Gehaishan city. After all, they were the people of the Bai family. How could He Lianyu be implicated and killed? Come to death. He Lianyu roared angrily, and moved the war spear in his hand, like a blood dragon roaring into the sky. This magical power is simple and direct, but at the moment of use, it can condense He Lianyu's divine power, allowing He Lianyu to explode with more power. The terrifying power comes to intimidate the opponent. This is the magical power passed down by the Xinwu immortal army, the blood dragon fighting method. Roar! The lifelike blood dragon suddenly slashed towards Mengjian. It was just a three-tribulation lord. If it was ordinary, He Lianyu could suppress an ant with his divine power, and then kill an ant with just a move of his fingers. But this blood dragon was killed by Mengjian, but nothing happened. Boom! Behind He Lianyu, Mengjian swung the Hongtian halberd in his hand, and the divine and demon-suppressing prison power that he had upgraded to the 230th level exploded to the extreme. At this moment, Mengjian's entire strength gathered on the Hongtian halberd. The Hongtian halberd cut. Heaven and earth shattered. Even time and space were cut open by Mengjian's cut. Wow! A halberd struck off He Lianyu's head. The divine armor was like tofu at this moment. It hit a certain place under Mengjian's piercing divine eyes and was cut open. And Mengjian's the Hongtian halberd, too, slashed down from He Lianyu's head. Whoosh! The strong wind blew towards the sky, and the world in all directions became silent for a moment. Bai Xiaotian and the others stared with wide eyes, unblinking. They watched this battle. A three-tribulations tribulation lord faced off against a six-tribulations tribulation lord. But what they saw was the three-tribulations tribulation lord suppressing the six-tribulations tribulation lord. This was really exciting. And when he saw Mengjian's halberd slashing down from He Lianyu's head, Bai Xiaotian bit his tongue and shouted in shock, "What? Beheaded? The master of three tribulations, kill the master of six tribulations in one battle." Mengjian put away the Hongtian halberd and stood not far away, looking at He Lianyu indifferently. Poof! At this moment, wisps of divine blood spurted out from He Lianyu's head and body. He Lianyu was not dead yet, but he was almost dead. Because an unimaginable 10-direction purgatory divine power eroded the divine body was controlling him bit by bit, and he couldn't stop him. He Lianyu looked at Mengjian, but laughed miserably. He said, "Unexpected. My life, He Lianyu, ended at the hands of a small tribulation master. However, don't even think about it. The Xinwu immortal army will let you and the Bai family be buried with me." But as soon as He Lianyu's voice fell, Bai Xiaoshan's cold snort came into his mind. "Idiot! Your Excellency is the divine envoy of the human race's immortal court, will you die?"